Mm, mm, mm. Oh yeah, I'm with this, with it. I'm just gonna lay back and I'm gonna drop some smooth lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. About to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready. Let's go. Ain't no half stepping. That's the name of the show. Yeah. Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah. Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you want to talk about? Call and we're hearing you. Cover all topics. Touch on the main issues. With you flowing this show, bring the heat. Yeah. The word on the street with the Earl on the beat. We superb in the D legacy online. 7 to 9:30. Please be on time. Ain't no half stepper with Marcus J, my brother. Yeah. They can't hang. Word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. Brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission. Before force and listen up. This Marcus J start to talk, running back. He been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission. Before force and listen up. This Marcus J start to talk. Ain't no half stepping, that's the name of the show. Yeah, Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah, Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you want to talk about? Call and we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With you flowing this show, bring the heat. Yeah, the word on the street with the Earl on the beat. We superb in the D legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. Yeah, they can't hang. Word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. Brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission. Before force and listen up. This Marcus J start to talk.
All right, y'all. Ain't no half stepping. Marcus J is live. We in the building, ready to have an outstanding show. We excited. We see Uncle H already in there checking us out. We already see our brother James in there checking us out. You know, the folks is here. The flagship show, Legacy Internet Radio, is also here. We got a special guest that's going to join us shortly, and we're excited. We got to talk about what has gone on in the world in the last 72 hours. And looking at the calendar, some folks think today is a holiday. You can tell by the way I set that up, some folks ain't me. The flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. We call this Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J, and we are live right now.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah. It's about that time. It's about that time to get. Yeah.
Open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up. It's scored. It's the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Wants it. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hit one deep to right center. That ball is high. The Yankees win the pennant.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J is live. We are in the building. Thank you to everybody that is rocking with us tonight. We appreciate James checking us out from Virginia Union University. Peace to Uncle H that's checking us out. We got a very, very special guest that is checking us out. I'll introduce that fella here in just a moment. As you can see, we're down one, but that's all right because we're going to rock and we're going to pay homage to our sister as we go through the night. Joining me in his normal perch across the table from me, my brother and yours, Mr. Changre. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Marcus Magnificence, keeping this the realest. How are you, Emperor, sir?
I am doing well, man. You know, the salutation who I held on to a minute ago is our brother Bobby checking us out. He said, "What up, brothers?"
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
My man Bobby. How you doing,
Bobby
brother?
Mack.
Yeah,
Mr.
man.
Super Contract.
Make me want to go. Yeah. What's up, Bobby? Anyway, you and I, we're going to be joined here shortly by our brother K-Dub, Legacy Internet Radio alumni, resides in Atlanta. He's going to be joining us when we talk about Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, and the events that happened in Israel over the weekend. We're going to absolutely get to those items, but just bear with us for just a few minutes because I need to see how John is doing. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right, man. I'm a little bit upset with myself. You know, this weekend was 2 Street Festival.
2 Street Festival was this weekend. Now, I got a whole built-in excuse for why I didn't go. John, why didn't you go to 2 Street Festival? What's that about, brother?
Well, Saturday, I went out for my walk.
Okay.
And when I was going for my walk, I had things to do. I had to, I had errands and stuff to run.
Yep.
It wasn't until I was on my way back from running my errands that I realized that it was, 2 Street Festival. I was like, damn. I was like, all right, I'll go tomorrow. Because it rained early on Saturday.
Yes, it did.
So, boom.
It did.
Anyway, so I'm like, all right, bet I go tomorrow. Sunday came and I just ain't had the energy, man. Like, I'm dealing with things physically. And I just didn't have it. I didn't have the energy, so I didn't go out and walk yesterday. I'm a little mad at myself. I did my walk today, though, and ran some errands. But yeah, I missed it. I love going there. A couple of my favorites I knew wouldn't be there because of last year. They said they wasn't coming back. So, but it's a wonderful thing, and I will definitely be there next year, no matter what. Now, and again, it's hard to keep up when it is. Like, you know what I mean?
It's always the same time this year.
It's always Columbus Day weekend.
It's always the first or second weekend in October, depending.
Which would be Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I as far as having a landmark in my mind as to when it is, the only landmark that I know off the rip is that it's always right at the beginning of October, like right before homecoming. Like Virginia Union has their homecoming coming up in a couple of weeks. And
let's go.
You ain't gotta let's go with me. You already know I'm gonna be out there. So
give me a ticket.
Meet me there is the way we ought to do that.
Hook me up a ticket, and I got you.
Just come to the box office. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the box office. So we'll work that out.
Right,
we'll work that out. But the point being, that's how
I saw the band practicing the other day.
That's how I
was
know.
Like, I would like to go to a VU game. Why I don't go to these games?
That's how I know when 2 Street is or 2nd Street. And speaking of that, is it 2nd Street Festival or 2 Street Festival? Now I know what I say.
Listen,
I say 2 Street.
I'm gonna tell you what it is, right? It's the 2nd Street Festival officially.
Yes.
Right. That's what you'll see on the banners and all that other stuff. But if you talk to anyone who's been in Richmond for more than, I would say, 3 years,
yeah,
2nd Street ain't a place.
Yeah, it's 2 Street.
It's 2 Street.
It's 2 Street. It's 2 Street.
It's a Richmond thing.
I've been here over 30 years. It's 2 Street. It's 2 Street to me.
Because I used to live on 2 Street, and it took me 2 years
to stop saying
second Street.
Bobby said
2nd Street.
Bobby said he's all in, guys. Let's go. And we getting very special shout out from our sister Asia is saying, "Hey Marcus, shout out to my brother Jay. Peace to you." So you want to say peace?
Peace to the Queen, Asia, Queen Body. Love you, sis.
Ain't no how step Marcus J live
That's
from
my sis, man. I'm glad you know who I'm talking about.
I know
now.
exactly. No, because I had an opportunity to say yes.
Yeah, that's so cool now.
Yeah,
Because I
man.
talk now, I talk.
I get it now.
I know, but I will talk to her, right?
Yeah.
And I say shit like, "Yo, oh yeah, yo, Bobby called," and I'm going. She's like, "Oh yeah, Bobby," like
yeah,
she knows.
yeah. That's the homie right there, and I enjoy hanging out. So,
It's
thank you,
cool when
thank you.
people you close to like know each other, because
Yes.
then it's just you can just rock.
Every time you get an opportunity to shake hands with or dap up Damon, that's how I feel.
Right.
So you get it, right?
Right.
I get it, my
Right.
brother.
My-
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy and Radio. There's something about a piece of home, you know, where you are in your second home. You know, she's a piece of home for you. He's a piece of home for me as well.
Right.
So, and a piece of home for me as well will be joining us shortly after Green Talk, which is a perfect segue into the next topic. We will do our thing, and I'm going to say my corny thing right now. So,
Okay.
will you allow me?
Yeah.
Can I say my thing?
Yeah, go
thing?
ahead.
All right, cool. Let us move on. We're going to move on to Green Talk. So I'm definitely interested to hear what you got to say about this one. We talked a little bit about this in our pre-chat before the show. And so I will have you jump in. Let me get one more shout out. I'm very excited about this one. We're getting a shout out from our brother Mike. Our brother Mike is checking us out out of NYC. He says, "Hey y'all, hope all is well. Love ain't no half stepping. Also, Marcus, next time you out this way, let me know." And he knows that K Dub is gonna be on tonight. That's K Dub's pops, man. So yeah, so it's so glad to see
Yes,
you,
sir.
Mike, you were so awesome, man. And our conversations about pro wrestling never left me. So we got some stuff to talk about with Jade Cargill moving on to WWE, and that's some inside stuff. I hope the rest of y'all will indulge me. Anyway, it's time for us to do some Green Talk. John, let us move on. What you got, bro?
I had. Well, we're gonna talk about this CTA.
Uncle H says he grew up on 4th and Clay 75 years ago, and it was always 2nd Street. Uncle H is letting us know 2nd Street, not 2nd Street. So,
sir, when did he say that was?
75 years ago. What you gonna
listen,
say, man?
So here's
what you gonna say?
Well, here's what I'm gonna say. I've been here for 6 years now, right?
Yep.
And everybody who I know who has been here either generationally or whatever, but it's like between 20 and 50 years.
Yes.
Like I think that's about it, 20 and 50.
Yes.
And they all say 2nd Street.
Here's what I will say about that. We'll put a bow on this. We'll move on, right? It's 2nd Street. But when we're referring to the festival, nobody says 2nd Street Festival. 2nd Street Festival's on 2nd Street. You're more likely to get somebody to say that. Would you agree with that or disagree with that? Because you lived on it, so I guess you would know in the last few years. I've been here 31, and Croker Spot used to be right there on 2nd Street.
And I lived right across the
I
street.
know you did. So it was on. We always said 2nd Street, but the festival we've referred to as 2nd Street.
I remember telling people where I live.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm on 2nd Street near Lee. And they would pause for a minute. Oh, you're on 2nd Street. Yeah.
My man.
So that's what it was for me.
My man.
That's how I switched.
Ain't no half step. Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy and Radio. All right, Green Talk. Let's get it.
So I've been getting a lot of calls from clients and former clients regarding the CTA, Corporate Transparency Act, that is going into law for 2024. And what it is they want, because this is what they're saying. They're saying people are using companies to launder money, criminal money, and different things like that, using shelf corps and all this other kind of, the stuff that rich white people did to get rich for years. What's happening is there's a lot of black people doing it now. So of course they gotta put something in the mix. So now what they want you to do is divulge all your information. So where you had limited liability corps, LLCs, S corps, and all these other things that gave you personal protection as you operated as a corporation, you would believe that you will no longer have those protections because you have to surrender your identity with a state-issued photo ID as well as a complete affidavit signed and to the government, right? Now, what they are saying, and this is what people, I need you guys to calm down about a little bit. What they're saying is it's a law enforcement tool that is only to be used by law enforcement when trying to pursue criminal activity. So it's not for the IRS to get up on you. It's not for, it can't be used in a suit against you. So if you have a LLC, your protections are still there, even though your identity, that information is in a secured environment for the CTA. So if you had a problem with your company and somebody was suing you in a contract dispute, they can't go to another private entity cannot call a CTA and get your personal information. It doesn't work that way, right? That's not going to happen. Whether or not the IRS will have access to it, that remains to be seen, right? But mainly what they're looking at is people who are doing things like how people do things these days, where they're operating as the corp, right? So what they're doing is they're taking their money, they're getting 1099, stuff like that, where they're getting paid directly corp to corp on jobs as independent contractors, right? So they are avoiding the income tax, right? Which is, on salary and wages, but not on contract. There's money to be paid in taxes as a corp, but you save tremendously. As a corporation, you generally pay somewhere between 10 and 15% total taxes annually. But as an individual, you pay somewhere between 20 and 33%. So people operate as corps. Sometimes they do that to avoid taxes altogether. There's different ways to do it. The solution, though, anybody who needs help with this, get with me. I got the solution. There's nothing to worry about. I can fix you up. I'm not going to give it away because I'm tired of giving away stuff. Because every time I realize this, Marcus, people, if you give people stuff, they have zero appreciation for it. You want somebody to appreciate something, you got to charge them a fee. And your fee has to be sizable. Otherwise, they're going to think what you selling ain't no good. You can't, it costs $2 to make Jordans in China, and they sell them for thousands of dollars over here. And the value is the fact that they cost so much. If Jordans came out looking like they were the same exact sneaker and they was $19.99 in Walmart, nobody would buy them.
I remember when Stephon Marbury tried to have the Starberry shoes and nobody wanted to buy them because they was $21.
Right. So the thing is, if you have a corporation, understand here's what's going to happen. If you do not fill out this paperwork and identify yourself,
can I pause you? And you're going to be very happy that I paused you.
All
okay. Right. So we're getting a hit in social media. The person says, and I'll obviously tell you who said it here in a minute. Hopefully I can get out there and see you soon. Love tuning in when I can. Lots of love. One thing I can always say is Dad's knowledge is amazing. You know who said that? Star Justice said that. So Star Justice, thank you for rocking with us.
Hey, Smooch. Love you.
Yeah.
That's my Smooch.
I
right
know.
There.
I love when you check in. Can I just tell you, I love when you check in because also a girl dad, I know the joy it gives your dad when you check in. So peace to you.
And let me tell you, everybody who doesn't follow me on social media, Star is expecting another child, my official second grandbaby. I have other grandbabies because Star's sister, who's also my daughter, not biologically, but my daughter,
yes,
has several children who are my grandchildren. But Star's having another baby. Will be my second biological grandchild, and she could have him or her for my birthday, like the way it's coming out. It could be right there.
Okay.
It'll either be my birthday or her sister's birthday or somewhere in between.
Congratulations, Star. I am so happy for you and your family and your dad. And I get to be honorary uncle if you would allow. Ain't no hashtag. And she says it's a girl.
Oh,
breaking news.
So now we got a
Breaking
matching
news.
set.
Yeah,
We
and
got a
girl,
matching
we
set.
girl dads in
We
here.
got Jackson.
We girl dads. And
We got Jackson the boy. So the girl, I don't. Yeah.
our sister Monique is checking in. She says, "Greetings, brothers, checking in and sending some love. Peace to you, my sister. Thank you, thank you, thank you." Go ahead and continue, John.
So the penalties on this CTA are severe. It's like $500 a day for every day you don't file it, and I'm not 100% sure whether or not this has been implemented yet, but it is proposed that you will have the calendar year of 2024 to submit your paperwork. If you don't get with me, I would suggest you get with an attorney and get this paperwork in. Also, for all of you would-be business folks from years ago who set up a couple of LLCs and you forgot about them, you on the hook too. You're on the hook too. They're gonna send some mail to your old address where that LLC was, and whether or not you get it, they don't care. You mess around and don't file this paperwork, there's some jail time and some serious money. $500 a day, up to $10,000 for every day you don't file it. So, if you don't know about it, Google CTA 2024. Read up on it. Make yourself well aware of what's going on. If you want to get with me, y'all know my social media. You can find me. If you're on this platform, you can find me anywhere because my social media is open. And get at me and I will help you. I have the solution. I have the fix for CTA. And get with me.
Ain't no half step on Marcus J. Live from NewDen, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank you, thank you, thank you, John. I always appreciate Green Talk because you always drop a jewel, just like Star Justice just said. Now, she has given us the name. Do you know the name?
No.
I'm gonna put the name on the screen since we don't open it up, Star. You know, turn the whole family. Hey, look, John will tell you, your daddy will tell you, like I'm the dude at the office at work when the lady comes in with the new baby and all the dudes keep working. I'm like the only dude with all the ladies looking at the baby. Like I'm that guy. And so I'm so excited from you. You kind of just got me really excited for you. So, but anyway, Hunter Busette Donola. Hopefully I said that right. Please don't be mad at me if I said that wrong. Busette.
Yes.
Hunter Busette Donola. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And I put it on the screen. So definitely, folks.
So we got Jackson and Hunter. I can live with that.
Yeah, I could dig it too.
I can live with that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I
very good on the naming, Smooch.
Yeah.
Very good.
yeah. You did good, man. I appreciate it. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. So we're gonna move on again. And we will be joined very, very shortly by our brother K-Dub, who's gonna have some fun with us tonight. We're gonna talk a bit about a few things, including today's air quotes holiday and then the events of over the weekend. And she says, Star Justice says thank you. So she's thanking us. So let's jump in it, John. Today is Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day for some. It's real easy to kind of go left with this one for depending on your perspective, but I am absolutely okay with Indigenous Peoples Day. Columbus Day, quick history lesson, 1492, dude came here, supposedly discovered America. What we know is he ended up in the Caribbean somewhere. His navigation was way off. He didn't discover what was already here because it was plenty of nations of native people already here. And I've always found it farcical. Well, not always. Let me rephrase that. When you know better, you do better. And so as I had gotten older and understood what actually is history as opposed to what has been given to us as history, like you can put a holiday right there on the calendar, but when you have the history book that tells the story and people with any kind of power of discernment can deduce what history is versus what a glorified Hallmark Day is, I am very happy that there are those of us who have shifted to Indigenous People Day. But having said that, Columbus Day is actually still on the calendar, which I think it's ludicrous. So we're going to bring our guest in, but before we do that, I want you to just give me a brief response to that. I don't want to leave you hanging. I want to leave you hanging with me, kind of an opening salvo. So give me an opening salvo. Our guest is in the green room, so we'll bring him in here just a second.
To me, Columbus Day represents the same thing that would be Hitler Day. So, if you have Hitler Day on the calendar, then you could justify having Columbus Day. But if you can't justify having Hitler Day, there's no way you could do Columbus Day, because Columbus did far, far more damage than Hitler, and with a much more concentrated effort. And yeah, that's all I could say about that. And as far as getting lost, he didn't get lost. His navigator was his half brother, who was a black man, and they knew where they was going. They knew why they was coming here. And when they got here, they did what they intended to do, which was enslave people, send them back to Europe to work as slaves, steal the gold, because they knew that there was gold to be found. And the only lost part is they didn't quite get to South America where they wanted to go initially.
That's where they were heading.
They hit Hispaniola and didn't realize it was a big island, not a continent.
Yeah.
So, but they wasn't lost, So, and Columbus never put feet on the ground in North America. He didn't make it out of the Caribbean. Some say he hit South America, but I don't think so. But that we can get all into it. Let's bring our guests in and we go from there.
Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. I'm excited. You should be excited. I know he's excited. I look on the screen. I see my oldest friend in the world. My brother K-Dub has rejoined his home as Legacy Internet Radio alumni. My brother, my friend, K. What up, bro?
What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? I'm back like I left my keys. What's good, man?
Back like you never left before. So who
Yeah,
would
man.
it be, my brother? I see.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sounded like
Absolutely.
K Double, my brother.
What's going on? What's good?
Same old, same old. You know what it is.
Absolutely.
So you in the green
absolutely.
room, and you heard us a minute ago kind of give our opening salvo on Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, the reason why some folks ain't have to go to work today. Let's talk about that. You're the only of the three who have not made a comment on it. So let us get your first words on the show tonight. Tell us your thoughts on Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day, whatever you got.
Well, Indigenous People Day, Columbus Day. Actually, I'm glad that it's not called Columbus Day anymore. That is called, now, people that have embraced Indigenous Peoples Day or what have you. But still, that's still kind of, I would like for it to kind of be called something else, but that's not up to me. But either way, what I'm saying, I'm glad that people have gotten more conscious about, the real story behind Christopher Columbus and, him being sent and so on and so forth. And what actually struck me as not odd, but I kind of was like, I was expecting a lot more pushback, to be honest with you. And it just, it's kind of bugged out that when they talk about Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, that it really didn't get that much of a pushback. And I know, it started with like Hawaii, Maine, a couple of other states that kind of was like, yeah, we're not even acknowledging that particular day. So it's good. I mean, I'm glad for it. Even though this is a hard push, it would be cool if what the real scenario, the real situation was being taught in school, but that's a hard ask.
You got some love from Mike. Mike is saying love Kate up. You want to say peace to Mike? He's
Hey,
listening.
peace, man. Hey, man, let's go Mets, even though it's over. It's over.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. We got our special guest, our brother Legacy Internet Radio alum, our brother K-Dub. We're talking about Indigenous People Day and Columbus Day, and I like the idea of changing the name. John. They changed the name. It's been legislated. I don't know off the top of my head. I guess I can look up where specifically where they took Columbus Day off of the calendar, specifically for the purposes of how I want to talk about this. Doesn't really matter where, but what's your thoughts on the idea of shifting it from Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day as a way of showing that we understand the lunacy of keeping a holiday around this man's name, obviously because of what he did and what happened afterwards to the indigenous people. So to change the name to Indigenous Peoples Day, I'm here for it. What do you think?
Um,
You're gonna have it on the calendar anyway.
Listen. Changing the name is fine, but don't piss on me and tell me it's raining, because that's what they're doing with changing the name.
Fair enough.
Because first of all, when you say indigenous people, you start thinking about casinos, right? And Columbus did not slaughter and murder the nomadic plains living people of North America. That's what people think about when they think about indigenous people, when they talk about the Indians, which is some dumb shit anyway. But they're thinking about nomadic tribal
we can curse
people
on here?
from the mid. Where you been?
We try to be
Hey,
strategic.
man,
we try to
you
be
know,
strategic with it, bro. We try to be strategic with it. Go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead, John.
That's funny you said that. We're gonna get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we are. There's a topic that we're going to talk about that absolutely fits the question that you just asked, K-Dub. Go ahead, John. Finish your point.
So when you start talking about, you know, these beautiful, proud people of the plains and part of the Midwest, not Midwest, but part of the West, this side of the Sahara Madre, you know what I'm saying? Not the other side. Because then you got the Chinos, which were the dark Mexicans in California stuff. But you're on this side of the mountains, right? Between the Appalachians and those mountains in those areas, you know, Kansas, you know, different areas, parts of Texas, you know, stuff like that. You have nomadic tribe people who picked up and they followed the buffalo, and you know they had, you know, their ways. They were farmers, but they moved around. They didn't have set towns and states. They had territory and areas, but they moved. The people who were slaughtered and murdered by Columbus and his other people directly were people who had cities. They had towns, they had government. It was a nation. It was several nations in North America, South America, and some of the Caribbean. But what they did not have was a standing army, because there was no need for it. There was peace. They had weapons for hunting, but they didn't have weapons for warfare, because that's not what they did. Some tribes in South America, some nations in South America warred against one another for different reasons. But in the Caribbean and in North America, for the most part, they were peaceful people with stone building structures, right? With irrigation systems, running water, buildings, clothes. Wasn't these, you know, when you see them in the loincloth types?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's not what happened. So they, by changing it to Indigenous People Day, they continue to foster that idea of civilizing versus colonizing.
Yeah. You know how Steppin Marcus, J live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. Dub, your thoughts on changing the narrative? We've moved from the common term Columbus Day in some spaces to Indigenous Peoples Day. Some spaces actually legislating it to a name change, and others more in spirit, like those of us who are speaking in this manner. What's your thoughts on the name change, the etymology of how we got there? Anything you got on that, bro?
I mean, when I talked about the name change, it was more so of a personal preference. You know, it's going to be that's going to be an extra hard pushback, I would think. You know, and what I'm afraid of, which I'm just going to be honest, if we really think about it, all three of us, as well as a lot of people that's listening and watching or what have you, you know, there's going to be a period after we're long dead and gone that you're not going to be able to get the information that we were readily available to get right now, because again, if you look at what's being manipulated in Texas, you have what's being pushed upon in Florida or what have you, and I'm quite sure as time goes along there's going to be other states that's going to try to carve out their little piece of, well, we don't want to talk about that, or oh, I don't want to let my sons and my daughters or what have you feel bad about something that really happened or what have you. So, that's what I fear that's going to happen after we're dead and gone. That people are not going to be able to get the real. They're going to get a watered down version of the real story. So just by changing the name, I mean, okay, changing the name, but what's going to be done behind it again? It would be cool if it was something that was carved out in the school the schools to teach the information, but again, we know the situation of what that's given.
Yeah. Let me challenge you on that piece, because you mentioned the schools in Texas and Florida. You mentioned specifically. We know there's a term that conservatives are using called critical race theory, that is they're using to preclude certain pieces of history from the history books. I remember we did a story here on the show a few years ago about a sister who saw something in the history book that she deemed wrong, and she took that joint all the way through the court system to make sure that the textbooks were accurate. And the irony, the piece that many of us don't realize, and I didn't until I did that story, was that many of the textbooks that circulate through the country are written and commissioned in Texas. And so if you have someone who is adverse to actual history that wants to bastardize the history and do things like make it in the history book where you think that Tom Hanks played Malcolm X in a movie and you think Malcolm X looked like Tom Hanks, they already did it with Russell Crowe and Noah. They already did it with Elizabeth Taylor and Cleopatra. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not that far off to think that Eminem could play Tupac in a movie one day. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
I'll even
So
I'll even take it a step further. You think about this, man. You know, you think about Mama, her kids, her grandkids.
yeah, yeah,
They're going to get a watered down version of certain things, and then they're going to get
they get it now.
by that particular point artificial intelligence, which we're kind of sort of as the key word of what a lot of people are talking about right now. You're going to get a whole new version of Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get a
Yeah,
whole new version of different types of historical things that have happened, whereas we know the backstory, what may have caused it, who were the players in it or what have you. Her kids or her grandkids are going to probably get a whole different version.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was in New Jersey this weekend, John, Doug, and I was sitting at the table with moms and pops. Right, this is a perfect opportunity for us to kind of open up the conversation to the world events that's happening now. We all know what it is. Not just give me a little latitude. I'm going to get there. But as I'm sitting at the table with them, drinking coffee with pops, as I enjoy doing when I'm there in New Jersey with him, we were talking about history. We were talking about what we saw obviously happened in Israel, which we're going to obviously get to, Dub. I want you to tell a story that you shared before with me personally. I want you to share it publicly, and you're going to see which story I want you to share here in a minute. But I had asked moms and pops while I was with them about world events and what's going on. My father was an Army man right here in Virginia, stationed at Fort Lee, known as Greg Adams now. Fort Lee, in uniform. He had to go in the back of a facility to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't that far away in our history. My father's living and he has that experience. He has the experience of sharecropping with his grandmother in Georgia. And the reason why that got busted up was because of what they did to Emmett Till. Like, it's a true story to an elder of mine who's still alive, who remembers it and has the emotion with regards to remembering it. That's kind of the setup for where I'm about to go, right? And I'd asked them what it was like. Is it worse now or worse when they were coming up? Because folks our age would guess, maybe not assume, but certainly would guess that it was worse before. When we look at the 60s and we looked at the civil rights movement, and we looked at the legislation that had to happen just so that we can vote and do certain things that we don't necessarily honor now, we take for granted now. And we had leaders that got murdered, literally murdered. Mega Evers murdered in his yard because he wanted people to be able to vote. What people? Black people. Malcolm X murdered. We know why he was murdered. John F. Kennedy murdered. Martin Luther King murdered. Bobby Kennedy murdered. All of those things happened in the 60s, right? And so as I'm talking to him, and John is reminding me about the Black Panther Party and all the stuff that they went through with Fred Hamptons and how they rode up in his house and killed him on December 4th, 1969. Somebody check my facts. In his house, the Chicago police, and nobody went to jail for it. Like, all that shit happened, right? It had to be worse then. My father, 81 years old, looked me right in the face and said, it's worse now. He said it's worse now. And I'm blown away by that. Like, how is it worse now? He says it's worse now. So it's a lot going on with regards to the world history. It's a lot going on with those things. So the players involved. After I read these next couple of comments, I want you to respond to what I just said. And then I'm going to talk about what happened in Israel. Let's see. We got Mike says so much knowledge on the show. So peace to Mike. Mike is still watching, and we appreciate him. 1 of 5 Beta is in, checking us out. Inside joke. Good evening to my brothers. Great conversation as always.
Good evening.
Hey, Steph B, who happens to not be with us tonight, but that is from our brother, the pretty boy. Damon is checking us out, Dub. Say peace to your
Hi.
brother and respond to what I just went into.
Hi. How are you?
It be your peoples. But respond to the diatribe that I just went on before I set up Israel.
Well, I'm assuming that you were talking about, talking to your elders and getting
Yes.
information.
The story. All right, here's the story. Here's the story I want you to tell. I
Okay.
want you to tell the story about when Martin Luther King was supposed to come to Metropolitan Baptist Church on Bergen Avenue in Jersey City, and the story behind that. You got that story. You shared it with me. Share whatever piece of that story you care to share.
Okay. Well, apparently, my great grandmother was part of a 2 to 3 person group that spearheaded Martin Luther King coming to Metropolitan Zion Church, uh, maybe about a week or so before he wound up getting assassinated. And you know that's the type of plug-in that a lot of people can't really say that they have, and to be able to lean on my grandmother, my mother, my uncles, or what have you, to kind of get the temperature of what that was like and what it was. One of my uncles actually talks about, because of how he heard about Martin Luther King, he was sitting on the church pew, and Martin Luther King walked past him, and the first thing that kind of struck him was the fact that he was a lot shorter than what he would have thought. He was thinking that, this particular person, dynamic speaker or what have you, he thought he was a lot taller than what he had saw on TV, with a little bit of TV or what have you. But just being able to kind of tap into that, being able to I personally, I know what brought this up. A lot of times I go to my grandmother and I kind of, ask her questions in regards to what was really going on the ground, during particular times when Malcolm X got assassinated, when Martin Luther King got assassinated. You can go ahead to the books, but what better source is it than somebody that's in the next room, asking them, what was it like? What was really going on in the hood? What things were people were talking about? So yeah, I'm always a proponent of that, and being able to, talk to, Mr. J, Miss J, in regards to what was going on. I know a lot of times they tease you and I in regards to the Knicks, having that party back in '73,
Bruh, I'm about
and,
tired of
and
hearing
like
about
I
that
said,
party.
and like I said, man, being able to talk to my grandmother and ask her, the real of what was going on and how things were, talked about and how people were moving around and being able to navigate. Just to give you a little bit, just a little bit on top. Same person, people think that, oh, that was a long time ago. Listen, man, my grandmom's is still alive, still walking around. She just called me the other day, was at the casino. She still has a job. My grandmother is 84 years old. You know what I'm saying? Still has a job, but I could talk to her and she could tell me about the time that during the summertime she would go to Maryland, and her being 11 to 12 years old went to go get some ice cream, not really understanding what was going on. They went to our ice cream parlor, her and her uncle. She wound up going to get the ice cream, went and sat on the little stoop, and my uncle, well, her uncle, snatched her off of the seat, and they had to go around back because you can't be getting ice cream in the front. And to think about that, and she tells me to this day that at her age, 11, 12 years old, she couldn't understand the dynamic of, damn, I can't get no ice cream. Like, it's just ice cream. I see people right there getting ice cream. That's not that long ago. So being
It's
able
not
to
that
tap,
long.
yeah,
Not
being able to tap into that, is a blessing. So again, I'm always a proponent, man. Anybody that can hear me, know me, or whatever like that, if you got elders or even people around you that got some age on them or whatever, sit down, man. Do a lot of listening, you know what I'm saying, and a lot less talking, and just talk to them and get an idea of what was going on, what things they had to navigate. I'm in Georgia, so
yeah.
I could tap into a number of different people, and you'll be amazed some of the stuff that you hear that went on back in the '70s, '80s,
Yeah.
even the '60s or whatever.
Yeah. And I stand Marcus J. live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. Uncle H says, I was shocked at how small MLK's robe is when I visited the King Center. He was a real short man.
Yeah, 5'7".
And speaking for the short guys on the soapbox at 5'4". We pit bulls. And clearly Martin Luther King was a pit bull. So he was a little dude. Shout out to the little dudes and Isaiah Thomas. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy already. You see the shot, right? You saw that done, right? You saw what I just did there, right? Yeah, he waving at me. Go ahead.
Zeke is a legitimate 6'1" though.
Yeah, but that's
Like I
still
stood up next to him. He's
yeah.
a legitimate 6'1".
We getting a hit from the inspiration of Legacy in their radio. Our brother, the host of Taking Those Shorts podcast with Jay Grizzy, the man himself.
Jay
He said,
Grizzy.
Cuz,
Jay
and
Grizzy.
Marcus J. Grizz lived in Brooklyn for some time in the 90s, Dub, and he's saying Knicks 50 wins this year. So I don't think that is a hard thing to do, but
It's
that's
not.
what Grizzy
What's the news?
yeah,
What's the news?
there you go. Jump in here, John. Jump in here,
Listen,
John.
let's go back to it being worse now. It's worse now because we don't have the same access to our people that we used to have. We we desegregated ourselves out of prosperity. The black family, which was the backbone and the source of energy for the civil rights movement, was systematically destroyed with COINTELPRO and a few other things. Drugs, flooded into communities, shutting down Black Panther Party and all that other kind of stuff, who did nothing but wonderful things in the community. And they just, because they were not willing to be sacrificed without resistance, they called them a terrorist group, which was the most ridiculous shit ever. The whole idea, like I said a lot on the show, like I was on the planet at the same time as Malcolm X. I mean, Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy. I was alive for a little while they were alive. We were on the planet together. I was old enough to watch TV and semi understand what was going on during Watergate. I was alive. I knew President Nixon, President Ford, President Carter. Like these are people who I knew, we went to school. We knew that Ford was president. We knew that Carter was president. Like that was part of my education. So now this wasn't a long time ago at all. When you talk about the Holocaust in this country, right? What went on in this country with the people here and what we went through and what we suffered through as a people. The problem is now we have more access to the resources, vision. We have sight of the resources, right? And we can see them, and it appears that we have more access, but we really don't. We had more access back then because it was more of a one-to-one situation. The discrimination, the white supremacy, racism structure has elevated into the digital age where we cannot, where we have to employ certain tools to not let people know that they're dealing with a black person to make sure that we don't get shut down. Again, that goes back to what I was talking about in Green Talk with the CTA. They identifying people because when they was just dealing with corporations, they wasn't identifying people. But now they want to identify people so they can make things harder for you. And this is what makes it worse now. The whole idea of 50, 60 years ago, we were supposed to put this stuff behind us, but we firmly put it in front of us and made it much worse. And we got black people leading the charge of white supremacy. It is so unbelievable. We've spent a whole show just talking about that, but I know we want to get into our next subject. But I'm gonna actually come back in it when we go to that topic. So go ahead, Mark.
Before we do that, we got a salutation that we have to give.
Okay.
And so when we give the salutation, we're excited to do it. I know I am. John and I and K-Dub follow our lead. We look into the camera and we say, "Good morning, Sue."
Sue, good
Hey, Sue, you see who's
morning.
on the screen? You see who's on the screen?
Sue,
That's your
what's
boy.
goody?
Yeah, Dub. That's we talk about Sue. You know Sue.
Yes, exactly. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Exactly.
man. Yeah. So always a blessing, Sue. Thank
Always
you.
always a good time.
Yeah. So good to see you. And I Step Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Net Radio. All right. So let us move on. Is where we talk about what happened in Israel. I'll give the opening salvo on this. Bear with me. I'll speak my piece. KW will speak next. John, you will follow, and then we will roundtable. On Saturday, the Islamic group Hamas began what is now being called the first shots in the war that was declared by the country of Israel. Hamas has broken through certain barriers from the Gaza Strip into Israel. They started with bombs from the air. They continue with an attack from the water, and they continued with attacks on the ground. There are many, many, many scores of people dead as far as Israelis. There are many Palestinians who have also been killed. This is a war that has been going on in this region, in this land, for generations, certainly longer than the 70 or 75 years or however long 1940s in the ashes of World War II, the current state of Israel was established, obviously established on the word of the UN, led by the United States and England. There's more to the specifics, but generally, the state of Israel was created on the land that was inhabited by the Palestinians. They've been fighting for generations, but they've really been fighting since then. But what happened over the weekend was I would say probably, and I guess the folks on TV are saying, but I've done my own research on this. I don't think that I've seen a situation where the Palestinian led terrorist group Hamas. And I don't even really want to say that the Palestinians is behind this, because Hamas, who is a terrorist organization, they're the ones that are behind this. Now, they may claim to represent the Palestinians, but we talking about a terrorist organization that are rolling up into spaces where civilians are, shooting them dead in the street, taking them hostage. They've been known to murder people on television to make their points. And so before K-Dub or John even speaks, I'm going to just say that I got a problem with that. And so we can have our conversation with regards to how the state was created and the people that were there and the people who ended up there and the natural fight that comes with that. I likened it to the English colonizers coming to the land that we live in. They renamed it after Americus Vespucci. There was plenty of people here before that, and those people rose up and fought. But what didn't happen is you didn't have the Iroquois killing the Seminole because they wanted to kill the colonizers. There's a lot of collateral damage. And so I obviously have tipped my hand, but I wanted to make sure that I got that out and on the record before we got too deep in the conversation. Let me get a couple of comments in, then dub you up next. Let's see. Our brother, also from Jersey City, St. Anthony High School class of 1993, is checking in. He says, brainwashing is real, brothers. We have so much to unlearn. This is your brother and friend and fellow New York Knicks fan, our brother Jalil, is checking in, and that is his comment. Sue says, it's been a long minute since it's been a long minute. We're going to have to change that, K-Dub. She basically saying, bring your ass to
Absolutely. Absolutely. I owe you that. All
right, there you go. So what you got first on what we just what I just opened up?
Mine is going to be real short, man. To be honest with you, there's parts of this that I do know about in regards to what started back in 1948 and how long they've been fighting. That it's been going on for years and years and years. And to be honest with you, when this happened on Saturday, I had to do my own research before I really, because I had to understand, like, yo, did something happen? Did I miss something? That they would just kind of just be like, excuse my French, fuck that, we going in. How, I have a number of different questions. Like, for instance, how is it that Israel didn't have any type of inkling of what was going on, or what, how far they were from the borders, and everything that's going on? I would assume that they would have some type of protection or some type of warning system. But again, that's just a question that I had when I first heard the story. What I did after doing my research, what I did find out was right before this happened, Israel has been at odds politically in regards to Netanyahu. Apparently, and what further allowed me to understand that, I was listening to a radio show earlier today, and a woman called into the radio show, and she was talking about how she lived in Israel for some time, and she gave a little bit of background in regards to their unrest politically that's been going on, where people have been in the streets for the past couple of days. And because of this war, that had to be put on pause. But apparently, the people, tell me if this sounds familiar, the people don't like what the government is doing in regards to, different type of transactions. And in actuality, she made rent. And again, I don't have anything to back up. I have to go on this lady's experience or what have you. But she gave a description of Netanyahu as a dictator, a dictator, or and she even said racist. Now, I don't have anything to back that up. I'm just going on what she made mention to. But it's kind of weird that right now they're kind of sort of have some political unrest similar to what's going on over here. And then you have this war, people just gang busting down the gates, coming from land, sea, air. And I don't want to see people getting. I mean, they ran down on a concert, for God's sake, damn dog, and it's on
Yeah, that
tape.
concert was
And what makes it a lot, what makes it a lot, what's kind of hitting people a lot harder is that we're seeing this shit like within minutes, within seconds. It wasn't like let's say back in the 80s or 90s, where we're getting it maybe a
It's
day
real
late.
time.
It's
It's
real
real
time,
time.
man. It's real time.
It's real time. It's real time. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. John, you see what's going on? What say you, my brother? What's your comment?
I'll open it up like this. Before the state of Israel was established, the three major religion folk all lived in that area in peace for years.
They always been fighting in that region, bro.
Okay.
They've been fighting in that region before 1948.
So watch this. Remember how we was talking earlier about how you talk to the elders?
Yes.
And they'll tell you the truth,
Yeah.
as opposed to what they put out there?
Yeah.
Before the state of Israel was established, Palestine used to be part of the Ottoman Empire. That fell sometime in like 1919 and 1902, some shit like that.
1918.
1918.
Yeah.
From that time to that time, in that region, the people, there was no established government. The people who lived there were Christian, Jew, and Muslim. And those people lived in peace. I'm not saying every day people didn't have a fight about what, but they had fights about fights. They didn't have religion fights and they didn't have government fights because there was nothing established. Okay, that's what went on. And when you talk to people from the area of all of those religions, they will tell you. Now, let's be clear about another thing. The people who settled the area in Israel were not necessarily majority Holocaust survivors who were Jews.
True.
A lot of those were Jews who were sympathizers with Germany. A lot of them
True.
were Russians.
Yeah.
Right? The Jews who survived the Holocaust mostly escaped to America. And those Jews, a lot of them became Hasidic. And those who weren't Hasidic or true religion, they do not. In the Torah, it states that Israel can never have a home. They can't. The nation of Israel as a religion, as a people, do not have a home. They will have a home in heaven, but they don't not have a home on earth. That's the whole point. They are meant to roam until the Messiah returned. Now they thought it was a guy they buried in Brooklyn, and he's supposed to come back, and he came back.
It's always
but he didn't.
Brooklyn. Does it always got to come back to Brooklyn?
It just is what
Does
it
it always
is.
got to come back to Brooklyn?
I don't know.
want to hear no talk about Brooklyn. We talking about
But I'm
Israel.
talking about the Grand Rabbi who was Imam. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing.
You know I got to
Listen,
mess with you
But
about
listen,
that.
it's a whole nother. My point being,
You
there's
know I
a
gotta
lot.
mess
There's a lot that's going on here that isn't. But and you said something about Hamas being a terrorist group. I will say to you this: the Black Panther Party was labeled a terrorist group.
The Black Panther Party didn't go and shoot up concerts. The Black Panther Party didn't take hostages, little girls, and old ladies. The Black Panther Party didn't behead people on television because they knew that other folks was watching. Don't do that. That's too easy.
No.
That's
no.
too
But
easy.
But yo, I'm gonna say this. Hey, Israel hands ain't clean either.
Hold on now. Listen, but here goes the thing, right?
Let me not get you shut down either. Let me watch my mouth.
You cannot tell one side of the story and make it true, right? You can't make it true by telling one side. And here's what else I know: if most of the time, if they let you hear it or see it, is bullshit, right? Real don't get coverage on the news, right? And I also know this: Israel has a missile defense platform that is as good as anything. So if missiles got through, if concerts got shot up, there was plans behind it.
Absolutely.
All right. So we can go, we can take it there as
We
far
can, we
as
can definitely talk about
because
Dub.
when you say Hamas, you think about you said they're an Islamic group.
They are.
So you okay, they are, right?
They are.
But what happens is
and they're
now,
terrorists.
but here goes the thing.
They're terrorists.
But here's what happens.
Hold up. They're terrorists.
Well,
we can't gloss over that.
I didn't say.
Do you agree or do you disagree? Because if we're gonna do this, we're gonna make it plain. Disagree that Hamas is a terrorist organization. I just need to know so I know how to talk to you.
I will agree with that.
Do you
if
agree
you
that
agree that the United States is a terrorist organization, and so is the nation of Israel?
I don't agree with that.
I do, because they do the same thing.
I've never seen the United States behead people on television.
Oh no! Oh, see, that's because we control. We control the coverage. Don't you think?
It.
Listen, you never saw it. Check it out. You never seen. You never seen white people bringing their children to celebrate hanging a black man, cutting his genitals.
But we know, but we have seen that though.
No, you didn't see it, and it wasn't on TV.
Well,
hey Mark,
So
check this out.
Don't get it twisted, bro. If you control a narrative in the source material, you're always gonna come out looking better than the other guy. But there's nothing Hamas has done that the United States and Israel hasn't done 10 times over.
We're gonna have to unpack that because that
I guarantee it.
Dub, jump in here because I see you want to double Dutch in, and there's a few comments.
Yeah, you and I.
Social media people, we see. As a matter of fact, Dub, let me get the social media people, and then I'm gonna come right to you. Let's see. Let's go with our brother Laurel. Peace to you, brother. It's good to see you, brother. He says labeling is real. Sue says Brooklyn is everywhere. Mama Mia, yeah, of course she does. Mama Mika, Legacy and Radio alumni says they are. Let's see. What else? Let me see. And Jalil says facts. Uncle Lee says doesn't have to be on TV. John is right. Okay, pick up there, Dub. I got the comments I wanted to get.
So you and I always, we go back and forth in these types of debates. And what I'm gonna say is that listen, John isn't wrong with what he's saying because America has blood on their hands on a lot of stuff that goes on that we don't necessarily know about currently, but then we may hear about 10, 15, 20 years from now. Keep in mind, before you heard about waterboarding, when did you hear about waterboarding? When do you think? Time frame?
I would say during the aftermath of 9/11, so the Iraq wars that came after that, Saddam
so do you think that when they put the laws in or whatever saying, hey, you can't do XYZ or whatever like that, do you think that they weren't doing this back in the 90s?
I don't know. I don't know.
This is what I'm saying to you. A lot of things.
Here's what I would tell you. Here's what I would tell you. I don't want to make this conversation because y'all wrong, we get to be wrong too. I don't want to make this conversation about that. You know why? Because we got video of Hamas hanging people. We got video of them taking hostages of civilians and beheading them. Not in this situation, but in their recent history. And so if y'all want to make this a conversation about how diabolical the United States is, fair enough, I'll let you get that. I'm not arguing about none of that. That's not what I'm arguing about. What I'm arguing about is the conversation that we're having now, today, about what's happening in Israel right now, and the organization that's perpetuating terrorist type activity on people. That's what we're talking about. So y'all could come and say we could say America is horrible. Hey, look, I'm not the dude that's defending America. I don't want to be in a situation or a position where I'm defending the things that America has done. Because as a black man in this country, I'm fully aware of what this country is capable of. So don't try to put me in no corner when it comes to that. Let me just tell y'all. Hold on, I'm not finished, right? So let me just say that. Having said that, we know right now that the group that has perpetuated what has happened in Israel 2 days ago took hostages that very likely in the next few days we about to start seeing heads come off very, very violently on television. That's what we talking about. So let's keep it there.
Okay, I'll keep it right there. I do not agree with the tactic. I would never do that. That's not who I am, right? But I'm not going to critique people who are at war. That war didn't start Saturday, right? Israel never kept their side of the bargain from in the 60s, right? When they separated the territories and they said, this is what it is, this is what it is. They sat down, they shook hands, they agreed, they signed the paper the day after Israel was kicking people out of the country, right? So it started then. They've never held to the treaty.
Agreed.
These people,
Agreed.
they were the aggressors
Agreed.
for years.
Agreed.
These people,
Agreed.
at some point, like
we're not disagreeing
right?
there.
Okay, so what I'm saying is this: it doesn't make them right, but I can't be mad if they fighting back, right? And that's what they trying to do. They trying to fight back. And here's what I will tell you again, and I will guarantee it, and I'll put my life on it. And anybody who's been in the military or part of the government, if you're not scared, back me up on this. Trust me. If Israel and the United States did not want a single person to die in Israel, there's nothing Hamas could have did to kill them.
Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy and Radio. Dub, hold your thought. Let me get some comments in. You got the next word on the show. Let's see. Our brother Laurel says the screenshot from the Simpson of the attacker when they zoomed in. Let's see. Jalil says, get Mo. Mama Mika says, after 9/11, we know. Laurel says, America's powerful and we benefit us, but the last to get the water in. I'm done. Mama Mika says, yeah, John. Let's see. Comments are coming in from a lot of different places, y'all. So just bear with me and be patient with me. Uncle H says waterboarding at Guantanamo. I'll respond to you after. I'll respond to what you just said, John. I'm sorry. After Dub speaks. Dub, you got the next word here. Let me make sure I get all of the comments in. Mama Mika says, I feel Marcus J. Yes. So, all right, Dub, you're up. I got the comments.
Listen,
You're up.
no, man. I mean, I'm not justifying anything that Hamas has done. I'm not, I'm not on their side. I'm not on anybody's side. But when these things come about, a lot of times we get propagandized in regards to who we should be rooting for. So what I'm saying to you is that I understand your particular perspective in regards to Hamas and them doing some wild shit. But what I'm going to say is that there's a whole lot of things that Israel has done that we find out after the fact, because let's keep in mind, Israel is who they are in regards to their relationship with us. So when we think about these particular things in regards to the information, and it's funny because previously I was going to actually say, watch the information that you're getting, because you have to take all of the information and you have to make your own assumption, your own, do your own research, just like I did today to find out, what was going on over there. So I'm not justifying or saying that, Hamas isn't wrong for running up in there, running in concerts, grabbing people up. And just like you said, if things don't go right, they're going to start, killing people. No way am I saying that, oh, well, they deserve it in any type of way. But I'll give you an example. I usually don't watch the news too much. I very take in a small amount of news just to get exactly what I need to get. But today I specifically watched the news. Every newscast that I watched today, they always showed what Hamas was doing to Israel. But they only talked about Israel retaliating. And I think it was Palestine saying, hey, You know, you need not do that if you're not going to give us a warning like you're supposed to in this treaty or what have you. We're going to start offing people. Again, think about what you saw compared to what you're hearing. So I say that, you know, to just tell everybody, you know, sift through the information that you're getting and kind of get it and do some, you know, kind of back testing and seeing exactly why these people feel the way that they do, and then make your own analysis. Me, hey, I pray that don't, you know, no additional people get killed, but being a realist, this is some wild shit.
Ain't no half step Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Net Radio. Laurel says, I'd rather in my face than behind my back. I know what I'm going to be able to do with in my face, behind my back scares me, and my antenna is up. Here's the thing, right? Let's talk about who Hamas is for a minute, right? They're a group of Islamic terrorists who are doing what they're doing. If the Palestinian people, if the delegate of Palestinian people were fully embracing and endorsing what was happening, then perhaps you might hear a different Marcus J. The Marcus J here is always going to condemn violence, but specific to Hamas, they don't represent the Palestinian people. The Palestinian people is like, don't be coming in here doing that shit. You fucking it up for everybody. They're bombing and killing, and their own people are dying, right? If you look at the amount of people who have died with regards to the Israeli tally, as well as the Palestinian tally, at the very beginning, at the hands of Hamas, those numbers were equal because those people don't care about life. Now, we, perhaps folks who may not understand the full scope of what's going on and who the players are, we see the Israeli people inhabit the Palestinian land and say, you know what? We see what's going on. We empathize with them. Whatever happens, happens, right? But that's not what's happening. You having an offshoot group that is killing people in the name of the people that's saying, hold on, wait a minute, we don't want everybody to die. Imagine you brought up the Black Panther Party earlier, right? Imagine the Black Panther Party in the name of all black people during the 1960s rolling up into wherever everybody is at and bombing it. Doesn't matter if other black people is there. Doesn't matter if black people are saying, no, don't bomb us. But the Black Panther Party is saying, nah, we seen what the white man does. We're going to kill all of them. And if you happen to be collateral damage, so be it. How
You mean
many
like the
black
police,
people
how
in the
they did that
60s
in Philly? You mean how the
many
police
black
did that to
people you know
Philadelphia?
died with that? Say again now?
You mean something like
I
how
didn't hear you,
the
dog.
police? You mean something how the police did that in Philadelphia?
Move,
Yeah,
1985.
1985 in Philadelphia, but that's not what I'm talking about. The police did that. The oppressor did that. I'm not talking about the oppressor.
You mean the Christian police?
Because yeah.
If
All
they
right,
are Islamic terrorists, they
hold on.
Christian police.
We not talking about the oppressor, because the oppressor, we expect them to do the nonsense. We expect the white man to blow up Philadelphia because of what was going on. That's not what I'm saying. If you want the analogy to be real, then we talking about the Black Panther Party blowing up Philadelphia.
They did.
Obviously they didn't. So to keep with the analogy, this analogy, Hamas is the Black Panther Party in this analogy. You can say that Israel has colonized these people and all of this kind of stuff, but the militant group that's stepping up is Hamas. And they do not represent the overwhelming amount of Palestinian people.
But let's be clear. Let's be careful, right? Because you said it like 5 times. Islamic terrorists. Okay.
That's what they are.
Okay. So then we have to say that, cops are Christian murderers.
I got no problem with you saying that.
Because
zero. But let's keep that. I don't want to measure tragedies.
But no,
you're not wrong.
But when you say that, you don't understand what's going on.
Not
but
wrong.
You do understand what's going on, but you're perpetuating it. You're demonizing an entire religion on the aspects of these idiots.
No, I that's a fair critique for my terminology.
Right.
Very fair
And,
critique.
and it feeds
and
into this now.
Fair
And
critique
here's,
for my
here's the only,
terminology. I received that.
but here's the only thing I will say about the entire thing. Those people are wrong. It is wrong to go in and kill people. It's wrong. If it's an act of war and war and you're fighting the standing army, that's fine. But to go in and get people who are not involved in the war, civilians, and murder them is wrong. But that type of warfare was introduced by the colonizers.
Here's the deal, right? I'm gonna come to you, Dub. Let me clarify, because I received what you're saying. The terminology Islamic terrorist is difficult, right? But we dealing with a holy war there. We're not dealing with
Those people ain't fighting no religion. And if you believe that, I will school you on it. They ain't fighting about religion.
Hold on. You're dealing with a holy war there. We dealing with a holy war there.
You're not. That's a lie.
How is
That's
it
not.
a lie?
It's not a holy
Because
war,
they
Mark.
don't
It's not a
care.
holy war.
They don't care about the people being Jewish. Most of the people who live in Israel aren't even practicing Jews. They don't
Exactly.
care about their religion.
Exactly.
about the
90%
territory,
90% of them
the lack
Israels,
of
they don't
access
practice
to
Jews.
resources. Right? So you, again, these are the narratives being perpetuated by the colonizers to keep people, brainwashed into stupidity. Don't nobody give a damn if you pray to Moses, Allah, whatever. These people are being starved. They're being given no water, no access to resources, and consistently having their land taken away by people walking into people. Imagine somebody walking in, your house where you live.
Remove the terminology of religion. I receive.
Okay, but wait.
Hold on. Let me receive what you're saying. I receive what you're saying.
Right.
I receive what you're saying. So pull the religion out of it. Pull it out. I was wrong. Shouldn't have used that terminology. I won't say Islamic terrorists anymore when I'm referring to Hamas. However, their tactics
are terrorists. Listen, they are terrorists.
So
we ain't even gonna argue that.
So me pulling out the word Islamic terrorist and just leaving terrorists with their activity, y'all good with that?
100% good.
Okay,
because
cool,
like you said,
cool.
They are not representing
fair
the
enough.
government of Palestine.
But my points remain the same. I just need to remove the one word.
Right, because here's the problem.
Right?
No, your point's the same.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not arguing your
Fair
point.
enough. Fair
That's
enough.
what I want to try to
Fair
get
enough.
into here.
Fair enough.
I'm not arguing your point, not even a little bit. What they're doing is wrong, right? It's absolutely wrong. However, we got to understand again the big picture, right? And I can't say this strong enough. Israel's defense system is supplied by the United States free of charge.
Fair enough.
Right?
Agreed.
If
no
Hamas
dispute.
was to be stopped, they would have been stopped. This is going on and allowed to go on for reasons. There are things going on. One is a distraction. That's why it's on TV, because there's some other stuff going on that they don't want you to pay attention to. Look at this war over here, right? Acceptable amount of dead is good on all sides. You think the Israelis care? The people who are important aren't getting killed. As far as the government's concerned, they don't care about who's dying in there, because you know what's going to happen? They're going to order some more. They're going to order some more missile defense systems. They're going to pay billions for it now because we gave them the first set free. So now we're going to get some money for that. We're going to sell bullets and guns to Hamas through a back door. Yeah. And we're going to sell bullets. So they're going to fight this war. We're going to fight this. They're going to fight this war, and we're going to make some money that we need to push into the economy. Because I guarantee you, Hamas as a total unit, we got 2 planes that could wipe out all of Hamas. We know exactly where they are. We know exactly what they got. We could drop bombs on them for 15 minutes and there would be no more Hamas. Period.
Jump in here, Dub. Jump in here, Dub. Jump in here. I see you want.
Listen, man. Listen. One of your followers or what have you just made a comment. Look, we don't know their culture as much as we want to sit here and go back and forth or what have you, giving our particular points of views. We can't tell the person that's over there what's going on. Now, there's innocent people that's getting killed. That is a part of war. Even as wild as it is, it's a part of war. I don't agree with Hamas and their tactics in regards to what's going on. And I damn sure, you know, a lot of times don't agree with how Israel moves as well. A lot of times, well, I'll say in this particular time, everybody just need to kind of step back, you know, step back and kind of figure this out. Just Jalil. There is no money in peace. The powers that are funded are on both sides. Somebody is just like,
Facts.
listen, somebody is going to win. That's why everybody needs to chill for a second. It's real fresh in your minds. Everybody needs to calm down and kind of step back and understand why this is going on and who gains the benefit from this, because somebody is going to win from this.
Yeah.
Lockheed
Yeah.
Martin.
And you know how Steph Marcus J live
Hey,
from
hold,
New
can I
Den,
can I make
that
can I
radio
make
show.
this statement real quick? Check this
Absolutely.
out. It's funny that you said Lockheed Martin. I follow the stock market today, and I have a group. I follow the stock market every day, and I have a group of investors or what have you. You know, we be chit chatting or what have you. And it's funny you said that, because today somebody said, "Yo, I need to go in and look at the people that are going to be sending out tanks and so on and so forth, because I know that they're going to be winning." It's funny that you said that, and that message came through at about maybe 9:30 this morning. So somebody's going to win from this, and we all know who's going to win.
Yeah,
Not
well, we
us,
know ain't no how
not the
stepping.
common man.
The Marcus J live from New Den Legacy in that radio. Jalil said, "Dub, you spit in facts." And the irony is, Jalil been the smartest dude in the room since we
Hey,
was
listen,
children.
since we was little, since we was young, you
Since
teenagers.
we was in high school, he been the smartest dude. He been the smartest dude in the room since we was in high school. Ain't no how stepping. Marcus J live from New Den Legacy in that radio. Ultimately, here's my deal with it. Right, I receive what Uncle H is saying, what John is saying, what Dub is saying, that my rhetoric is similar to the colonizers' rhetoric with regards to Islamic terrorism. I receive that because I have always been the person who has been careful with terminology. So I receive that. Having said that, looking at their behavior is terroristic. My mistake was attaching their religion to it. And so, respectfully, I will retract that. Having said all of that, my biggest deal is the humanitarian piece of it. This is the part of the conversation that I would like to shift us to and talk about this. I saw a man on the news whose daughter was at that game concert, and there was video of her being captured as she screamed for help. Please help me, please help me, please help me. I sympathize with the dad and the anguish that was on his face, because the reality is I can't speak for him, but as a layperson, an American who happens to be watching this on the news, I don't think he ever going to see his daughter again. Ever. Ever. I don't think he's ever going to see his daughter again. And that upsets me. There was another man who was on the phone with his wife, who was in the area with their two small daughters, who was there to visit her mother. The wife, the mother, the two small children were captured. You see the video of the Hamas dude covering her head. Like, that's what you worrying about now? The war that y'all just started, you worrying about her head being covered, bruh? Really? That's just weird to me. But I'm thinking about that father, that husband, that son-in-law. That's where my mind is at. That's where I'm talking about terroristic activity. And it's hard for me, as the kind of man that I am, as the kind of American that I am, and a lot of black folks, we're in America. You American. You live here, you American. You pay taxes here, you American. They fucked up to us. They treat us shitty. You still American. They oppress us. The cops kill us. You still American. Okay? Try to go somewhere else to see how American you are. Okay? Like, we're not doing that. Having said all of that, I see the humanitarian part of this. And it's heartbreaking for me, because if you are to follow the reports, there's at least 100 people who have been taken hostage. Some of them are American. We about to see heads come off, y'all. They're going to start beheading people on television. Dub, you mentioned earlier, You heard the same report that I heard, where Hamas said, if y'all don't do like y'all normally do, knock on doors and let us know y'all coming. Y'all just roll up in here, kicking the door, waving the 4-4. All you said, Papa, don't hurt me no more. Shout out to Biggie. Only Christopher I care about today.
It's Wallace.
If they doing that, Hamas is like, all right, word, y'all doing that? Off with their heads. We start beheading people. We killing people on television. Y'all gonna see it. Not just y'all Israelis, y'all the world. Here's my fear with that. And I said this to Mom and Pops 2 days ago, sitting across the table, drinking coffee. I was glad to see him. This has laid the blueprint for other organizations around the world to say, yo, we should just roll up. This was clearly planned, but we struggle in this country with people just rolling up in here with the borders being what they are. None of us Americans should be surprised if we start seeing the same type of thing here. The American intelligence that's supposed to be, Dub, you and me been friends since I was 3, you was 2. We thought we was cousins until we was high school. We said, fuck it, we still cousins, even when we found out we wasn't cousins no more, right? If something went down with you, I'm traveling to Atlanta. I probably won't ask you a whole lot of questions until I get there. That's just what it is. That's how I feel about you. And I know you feel like that about me. America and Israel supposedly are very tight allies. And we know that we have Americans who have been taken hostage. What we finna do, y'all? What we finna do? John, you got it first. Dub, hold down. Wait for John to finish. Let me get a couple of comments in. We're going to talk about this part of it. We're going to talk about this part. Let me get a couple comments in. Let's see. Mama Mika, why are you talking about your fantasy football right now? For real, that's what we're doing. But I hear you, because we got to talk about what's important to us. And her fantasy football team did good. I ain't mad at you. As long as you're not rooting for the team where they are that has that thing on their helmet. Let's see. Mike says, been watching news, but tonight was so different. Listening to y'all, it is true. There ain't no half stepping up in here. I can dig it. Lorel says something happened when. Not sure where that comment's coming from. Give us some context, brother. Sue says, oh, it's coming our way. It's just a matter of who. And that's what I agree with. So grab the mic. It's your time. What you got, John? Wait for John.
I'm going to say it again. Yeah. Don't believe the hype. I wish I had Flavor Flav here. Don't believe the hype.
Which hype?
Any of that. Let me tell you something.
Said a lot.
One,
not sure which hype you
terrorists ain't take down the towers or flying to the Pentagon. That was bullshit. And anybody who still believes it, I don't know what to tell you.
Who did it?
America did. We did it.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
We did it.
I see where you're coming from.
The day before, $3 trillion went missing from the Pentagon.
September 10th. We never talked about it again.
And they never spoke about it.
We never talked about it again.
So
that doesn't convince me that America flew planes into their own buildings.
And the full scenario, everything that happened that day was already in a computer printout down to the plane size in the CIA office. They had it. Okay. They knew the whole layout. And you cannot listen.
That's a classic conspiracy theory.
There's not a theory, because this is fact. You can look it up. This is done.
Show us.
Right?
You seen it. We ain't
Google
seen it. Show it. I don't want to Google it.
Okay.
You talking about it. Show me.
So I gotta Google it.
Yes.
I don't have it in my hip pocket.
All right, well then Google it.
Do it right now.
Well, don't do it right now. But
look,
you saying
I'll
it.
Give it to,
I'm not sure where to go look for it.
Will,
that's your fact. That you claim is fact. You show us.
There's a 800.
Because that sounds crazy to me.
Okay. There's an 800-page.
It don't sound crazy to you.
There's an 800-page.
Show us the 800-page report.
There's an 800-page report done by the CIA and Department of Justice.
Show us.
Talking about flying planes into the World Trade Center.
Show us. I'm not saying it don't exist.
That was done 2 years before the attack.
Show us. Because I'll be honest with you. I'm about tired of hearing people. No. Don't ask them. Don't ask them.
Google it for Marcus.
Don't ask them.
Google it.
Don't ask them.
Look.
Don't ask them.
Listen.
You said
listen,
it.
Captain
You Google
America,
it for
Captain
me.
America. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
not Captain
I'm
America,
so- I'm
but I'm
sorry.
also
I'm sorry.
somebody.
I'm sorry.
I'm about tired of hearing from conspiracy theorists who throw shit out
So
there,
how about
but
this?
don't have no
How
facts
about this? How about
to
this?
support
Did,
it.
did Saddam Hussein
Show us.
Did Saddam Hussein attack America on 9/11?
Americans would say that. There are those who would say that.
No, they listen.
I-
According to America,
Saddam-
he didn't.
No, right, exactly.
Right.
So
So now, but behind that, we went to the country and killed him.
yeah, he died.
Right.
So what does that have to do with this 800 pages that you said that's out
what
there
I'm trying to
that you want them to Google?
But here's what I'm trying to explain to you, right? If now we have a terrorist act on U.S. soil, it was planned.
Show us.
And America will
Show
be
us.
complicit in it.
Until you conspiracy theorists people show me
Bruh,
the CIA papers that y'all always tell us exist.
No, bro.
I don't want to hear that no more.
I'm gonna show it to you because
All
I've
right.
seen it.
All right,
You
fair
ain't
enough.
seen it because you don't look.
I don't.
You
I don't.
You don't care to look.
I don't. I
Right?
don't.
But I look.
But you telling me it exists and you are putting it out there that it exists. Show me.
Just like you probably,
Show me.
You probably
Because if
even
I
though-
say
listen,
something, I can show
listen,
you.
Listen. You probably won't say. You probably say it didn't happen.
I'm not
even
gonna
though-
say it didn't happen.
Even though
You say it happened. Show me.
Wait, no. You probably say this didn't happen, even though the person admitted to it. That Condoleezza Rice got a phone call and said, "Don't get on no planes today." Right? Several important officials got phone calls and said, and they admitted to it. Yeah,
I know about that,
Right?
and I
So-
agree with that.
so
and so I
listen,
do agree with that.
listen,
but that's not what we talking
there's
about.
over-
show
wait,
me what you
there-
say
There's
is out
over
there.
$500 billion
If
in
you
bearer
can't show
bonds.
me, then why are we
Listen,
still talking about it?
over $500 billion in bearer bonds?
Are
that
you
were
gonna
never
show me?
recovered? I don't gotta show you.
Why
bro.
not? You
Be-
said
listen,
it is this, so show me.
Yo,
Listen,
you know, y'all sound like y'all in the barbershop.
No, listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm about tired of
Look,
conspiracy theorists
it's
telling
not-
me shit that they
this
can't
ain't-
show
this
me.
ain't- This ain't conspiracy.
Show me.
Because I travel with my American passport, proud as fuck.
Me too.
But I'm not simple enough to believe anything these lying motherfuckers say. Not one word.
All I'm saying is, if you say it exists and you saw it, show me.
Listen to me. And
What's
I'm gonna
hard
say
about
this,
that?
I'm gonna show it to you. I'm not gonna show it to you while we're on air, but I'm gonna send it to you.
Show it to me.
My
That's it.
people, I'm telling you this now. If you see it on the news or you hear it, it's bullshit. Because if it was something meaningful, good for you to know, to understand, they would not tell you. These people do not like you.
Agreed.
They don't have your interests at heart.
Agreed.
And trust me, if this shit is set up to design to have another terrorist act happen on U.S. soil so we can galvanize the country and go to war with somebody else who didn't do shit to us and make a whole lot of money and save the economy and make sure Donald Trump gets back in office, it would be all worth it to these people. Because guess what? You're right. Netanyahu's about to get kicked out, and they don't want him kicked out. You know why? Because he's a fucking Nazi.
I agree with in spirit of what you said. My issue is I'm about tired of hearing people tell me about all the shit they know, but they can't show you where they got it. You telling them to show me, I want you to show me. You show me,
bro. You gonna get the
fair enough.
message.
There it is. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J. Lord. I almost say Lord have mercy because I'm looking at the screen and Mama Mika said Lord have mercy. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J. Live from NewDen Legacy in the Radio Dub. Yeah, I see you laughing at us, man. Jump in
Man,
here,
listen,
give us.
y'all sound like we at the barbershop. Whatever point I had, I don't forgot that shit. But look, man, check it, yo. I mean, yo, listen. Both of y'all, you know, is right. And you of all people, you know, Mark, we don't drink the water.
Hell no.
We don't drink the water. So like I said before, man, you know, filter the information that you're getting when you listening to what they're feeding us. It's funny that you say that. I had a conversation with my wife yesterday, and we were talking about, you know, information that's being told to us, but keeping in mind that, you know, that the president and other people within the government, they get these reports every day. If we was to know exactly what was in these reports, man, this country would go crazy.
Absolutely.
Straight up
I don't
and down.
disagree with that part. I don't disagree with that part. Where I disagree is the documented theory of the things that have happened. If you've seen it, show us.
I ain't talking about 9/11. We can sit here for 3 hours and talk about 9/11.
Argument. I can't do nothing with that except for take your word. But if you've seen something, that I could access and make my own opinion about, then we talk about a different thing. Mama Mika says, "Move on, Marcus J." She wants us to move on. So
Thank you,
I'm
Mika.
gonna send my
Appreciate it.
49 for a second time tonight in honor of Legacy and Radio alumni Mama Mika. Let us move on. Code switching. K-Dub, you want to talk about some code switching?
Yeah, let's talk about code switching.
right.
Shit, I'm
All
very
right,
familiar
John.
with it, and there's a
Go
lot of
ahead. Get ready, John. What we talked about with code switching. Wow, are you ready to talk about that piece? Okay, cool. So John's going to introduce something that will jump off our conversation about code switching. So I'm sorry, y'all. I'm doing like 5 things at one time, and something just caught my eye and made me chuckle. John, you got the code switching. Let's start there. Now, all the other shit we talked about still on the table, by the way.
So last week's show, we were speaking about the representative, the sister, the lawyer, who said the government was in the shitter, and whatever else she said.
Congressman Jasmine Crockett, out of Texas.
Yeah, Davy. Yeah,
Congresswoman.
Congressperson
Jasmine Crockett out of Texas.
Representative Crockett.
Yes.
She and she did it with some black girl magic on it, right? And people wanted to try to downplay her analysis based on her, black girl magic in it. I told her she took a couple of points away by choosing to curse. She said why she cursed. She said because, she don't, they go low, I go high. She ain't subscribing to that. They go low, so we gonna go low. And that pulls me back to a point I was gonna make about the other thing. Same difference, like, stuff that people do after a certain while, you like, yo, I'm not gonna be, they not being humane, so I'm not gonna be humane. I'm gonna do what I do. And I think when it comes to code switching, and that's with regard to Hamas and whoever, but it comes to a point now, I don't think black people in America are with the shit no more. It used to be a time when you were in a room of people, whoever they might be, other black people, white people, didn't matter. But you in a room in a group, you found your group vernacular, right? Your verbiage was suited for the room. So you wanted to make sure that you understood, and you wanted to show off a little bit of the fact that you had some college, right? So you did, right? But at this point in time in America, because we have social media, because so many people have voices and saying things, people don't really care no more. So when Dub spoke about, oh, we cursing, yeah, we kind of cursing now, because it's like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? These people are doing diabolical, despicable shit, and I gotta find good language to describe it. Like this brother in was it Baton Rouge, right? Chief of police, right?
Police chief, yeah.
There was some corruption going on. A lot of white cops were involved, and he was doing his police duties as chief to investigate. And he was like, "Nah, man, you ain't gonna do. We're gonna bring in the FBI." And he's like, "Why? I'm the chief. I can handle this." And he was like, "Well, it's white guys, and you're a black." They kind of said that to him, right? That you're a black guy and these are white guys, and you can't be disciplined. And so he went into a council meeting or whatever he went, and he kind of got mad about it.
This is Baton Rouge Police Chief Murphy Paul.
Yeah, Chief Paul, he got mad about it. And he kind of spoke out and kind of dropped some jewels on it. And they got mad because he was mad. He wasn't really mad. He was just passionate.
They said he was wholly unprofessional.
Nah, he was professional as fuck because he brought the facts. But they didn't like the fact that he raised his voice. Because guess what? When you're a black man, oh no, you can't raise your voice. You raise your voice, you might get shot because now you're dangerous. You're a black man. You not turning when you raise your voice. You not turning when you raise your voice. So think about, you can't even think about fight back. Fight back? No, you can't fight back. You can't even raise your voice. You better watch your tone when you speak to me, black man, black boy. So at the point now in this country, I feel like we're tired of code switching. I kind of dropped it. I want to thank Marcus J for that. I used to sit down here and count his fucks on the.
He did.
Right.
He did.
I
he
gave up
did.
on
A
it.
Dub. A Dub. He used to write down on a piece of paper because see, Dub's been around since the beginning when we used to do sports segments on the green room
Yeah.
before we became Ain't No Hashtag Marcus J. And I had a mandate, mostly was from First Lady comedian that's Lissa P. That was her thing. Like we shouldn't be in here cussing. We want folks to be listening. And then she would get mad at me when I'd be like, I don't care if they don't listen. You know what I'm saying? Like if you get mad at something I say, then turn it off and listen to something else. She'd be like, you can't be that way with people. And so that's the way we would be with the no cussing. But then I thought about it. Like we don't want to be gratuitous and just string them all one after another. If we place Dub a strategic man, fuck out of here, that's okay. A strategic man, fuck that shit. It's okay. So the whole thing about him writing down my fucks, yeah, I used to pick on him about that, and he would pick on me about that, and it was a whole thing. But having said that, the code switching piece was how we would regulate right here on our show how we spoke. You mentioned the barbershop. Ain't nobody counting fucks in no barbershop. Now, I don't want to come on the show and every other word be that because the elders don't want to hear that. And there are some of us middle-aged folk that don't want to hear that too. So we'll be smart about when we do it. But I hear you and I receive what you're saying as far as code switching. Jump in here before I finish my point.
Right. So you helped me with that because now I don't really care. You know, I got a warehouse in Hoboken where I keep the fucks. I don't care. But
is it by the tunnel? It's by the Island Tunnel?
Yeah, right by the tunnel, bro.
Right by the tunnel?
Right. Hey, look, right, hey, Dub, right on Washington Street.
You know it.
No, very well.
Yeah.
So my point is we were doing some pre-production. We were listening to Ice Cube, right? And you was on one of the medias, one of the streaming medias, and they were playing the song. He dropped about 17 N-words, right? And he got to a point in the song, he was saying, your company got ran by a Jew, and they blurred out Jew.
Yeah.
17 N-words.
No Vaseline.
One Jew.
No Vaseline.
Was not played.
We were talking about that. So
think about that with the code switching, and I'm about done because this goes back to how we were colonized and programmed to say shit a certain way, right? I don't care, and this goes back to Christopher Columbus. I don't care how we change the thing or whatever. If you got a test and it says on the thing who discovered America, what you gonna write? Christopher Columbus, right?
You can get the answer right.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So we stuck on that. And if you told somebody, listen, I got a new apartment. Where's it at? It's on Columbus Street or Columbus Boulevard. You're gonna be like, all right, I know where that is. I'll go over there. But if somebody had a apartment, said, where you at? It's over here on Hitler Avenue. You're like, I ain't going there. I ain't going to Hitler Avenue.
Yeah.
But it's the same shit.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. Just like you send people to Jefferson and Washington High School, and they done did some diabolical, Hitler type shit.
Right here.
But we don't talk about it.
Right here in Richmond, Virginia, Doug, we just changed Jefferson Davis Highway to Richmond Highway because of what John is saying. Jump in here. I'm going to say more on code switching, but and I got a story to tell that happened to me in 1997, which was the last time I consciously code switched. What you got, Doug? What you got on the topic? Code switching.
I mean, listen. Code switching is not necessarily looked at as a bad thing. I'm gonna give you kind of sort of why I say that, because it shows us, first of all, our culture is the only one that quote unquote code switch. We know exactly what it is. We know unwritten body language to certain words to just a feel or what have you. We know what the other individual is thinking or what we're both thinking at the same time just due to our culture. But here's the understanding of what I mean by we all code switch, whether we believe it or not, with our own people. All right. You and I, Marcus, we have conversations and we talk. But you and I will not have that same conversation in front of your moms and your pops and my grandmother, will we?
Now I would. I receive what you're saying. Depending on the topic, I already told you about the conversation me and Mama had
Okay,
on
so
the
but what
so.
I'm getting
So
at, what I'm
depending on
getting
the
at,
topic,
there's
but
certain
I see where you're going. I receive what you're saying. Point taken. Point taken. Point taken.
there's certain words that you and I will use
But
that we
middle
won't
age
say.
shit make you say what you want to say. Middle age shit, you gonna say what you want to say in a
So
different manner.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying is
And so continue.
there's certain there hold on, yeah, there's certain people, there's certain groups that we're going to talk a certain way around. You know what I'm saying? And that's
I'm
just
picking up
within
what
our
you're saying now.
particular culture. Now you're talking to somebody that with my particular job, I have to engage with a number of different people that throughout a whole day, I'm sure a number of us throughout a whole day, I may not see anybody that looks like me. I'm not going to talk to them the same way, but I'm not talking in some old subservient, yes, a boss type of dialect. And I'm talking about being in the
Yeah,
mountains of Georgia for work, not where I live. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? For work. So there's
yeah,
certain words, there's
yeah,
certain things that or a certain way that I'm going to carry myself, not necessarily also to try to fit in, but also I may be the only black person that them people actually interact with throughout their whole day. They may go on TV and have a mindset about black people that because I'm coming into their office or I'm engaging with them, that may change their perception of black people. So of course, just because I'm a black man and I know who I am, I'm not going in there on no subservient, but I know that I may be the representation or the representative of black people, black culture, and so on and so forth. So it's not, I won't
yeah,
necessarily say that code switching is a bad thing, but yeah, we feeling ourselves a lot more because of what's been going on. And it's like, yo, listen, regardless of what we doing, they still doing some wild shit to us anyway. So why am I act like this? So it has its place in different times, in different moments, in different groups, and different interactions.
yeah, yeah. I love the way you laid that out, Dub. When you related it to our elders, and LB is an elder, just like moms and pops J and others, and because you and I are family, we are around the elders together. So you spoke to me kind of in a code switching way. You spoke to me directly outside of everybody else. So I received that. Having said that, when I'm talking about code switching, I'm talking about how black people try to mute their blackness so that they can fit in with white people.
Oh no,
That's
fuck
what
that.
I'm talking about when I'm talking about code switching. Now,
Fuck that.
do you want to say, man, that's some bullshit around your mama?
Yeah.
Probably not. Do you want to say, man,
Yeah.
fuck all this? This is crazy. Around your pops? Maybe not. But do you want to change the way you speak and put a stick in your back so that you can sit up straight and have a conversation and speak the king's language around white folks at work? That's what I'm talking
You
about. Let
know
me get
what?
this
You know what I
comment
think,
in,
man? I
and
think
then
that more so even because of the social shit that's going on with Trayvon Martin all the way to all of the different deaths of black people, so on and so forth. I think that more so us, we've gotten a lot of that fuck it in our system. Like regardless of whatever, if they want to feel comfortable with the way that we talking around them or the way that's their problem.
that's
You know what
on
I'm
them. Yeah,
saying?
I don't fuck
That's
with
on
that.
them. That's their particular problem. So I think that as a mass, I think that there's more people that's has that mentality now. Like I'm not doing something or saying something just so that they can feel comfortable in their particular frail ass skin. Nah, bunk that. So nah, I'm not with that. Hell no. Mm.
Let me get a couple of comments in and then I'll tell my story. Mama Mika says, I told my white homeboy that you can't cuss around black mothers. That's some real shit, though. I can sit there and say certain things with pops at the table, but when mom's sitting there, I got to cover my mouth or change my language. So there's your code switch right there. Mama Mika says, hold on. She said, tell him. Our brother Laurel says, not about them. So within, without, change you and pay attention. Mama Mika says, let's switch it up because they want to be like us so much. And yeah, we don't do certain things around our elders. That's different. Fuck them. They do though, is what Mama Mika says. So here's my story, right? It's 1997. I'm working in a call center, doing collections. Excuse me, sir, you owe us $50. Can you play us $50 next month? Excuse me, sir, the $50 you owed us last month is now $75. Excuse me, sir, the $50 you owed us 2 months ago, a month ago was $75. Now it's $100. I did collections, right? That's what I did. So I'm having a conversation with this dude, right? I didn't compute if it was a white dude, but I heard his voice. We do that. We act like we don't do that. Black folks, white folks, we can hear the voice on the phone. We can kind of accurately sort of semi deduce who we listening to on the phone. Black folks, when you're talking to your brother, you talking to a white guy. Sometimes you get it messed up. Sometimes you get it confused. Clearly the guy that was talking to me got it confused. So we go through the whole conversation, right? We get right before to seal the deal. Right before to seal the deal, the dude says to me, I'm glad I talked to you, Marcus, and not one of them black guys. And so it's 1997, so I'm 23 years old, and I'm trying to work my way through sealing the deal and making sure that I get what I'm supposed to get with regards to the standards of what I'm tasked with on the phone call, the conversation. So I seal the deal, but I'm still me. And at the end of the conversation, right before the goodbyes, I said, well, by the way, I'm one of them black guys. Oh, I didn't mean nothing by it. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And after that conversation, I never, ever consciously code switched on the phone again. Not to say that I code switched in that conversation, but I never consciously did it again because that's something that we as black folks often do. White folks, if you listening now, let you in on a little secret if you didn't know. Your black friend is at work trying to make sure that he don't get fired by saying some shit to y'all that y'all deserve to be heard.
You
Because
don't
y'all
talk
take
like that.
liberties. You don't
You don't
realize
talk
you
like
do, and
that.
it's okay. It's okay in the sense that American culture is what it is. Oftentimes, it's so innate to who you are. You don't realize what you're doing, and there's no harm around it. That most of the time we just let it go. We keep it moving. Why? Because it's easier to just keep it moving. But sometimes you might get a black person that's for the shits. And that day I was for the shits. And I was like, you got a black, oh, I didn't mean nothing by it. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And so I never consciously code switched after that, John. I want to know what you think about that story.
Well, I've heard it. You told it, and I get it. Yeah, 100%. But with me, with the code switching, like, if it's a requirement of your position, how you make your money, that you speak and you use certain words, you probably have a script in front of you that you follow. The words
That ain't code switching though.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's not code at work.
That's not code
I don't
switching.
consider at work code switching necessarily. My thing is this: don't think that you're gonna use your language to the best of your ability to assault me or pass on microaggressions, and I'm not gonna check you with my language. What I like to use, I'm gonna use what I want to use when I want to use it. I can speak well, and I've spoken in front of hundreds of people. I don't think I ever did thousands, but I've spoken in front of hundreds of people in a way that everyone understood me. I've spoken in rooms of maybe 100 people, where the majority of them were white educated people, and they all understood me and got my point, and I was good with that. But I'm at the point now, right? We spoke about my grandbabies earlier in the show. I'm at the point now, right? Where listen, I'm gonna use what I want to use. And if I feel like going, Brownsville, Brooklyn on you, that's what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get. Whether or not you understand it, you're gonna get. Whether or not you understand the words doesn't mean you're not gonna get the point. Because you're gonna get the point, right? Go back to that SNL skit with Richard Pryor and what's my Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase.
And he was
Yeah,
like-
yeah, yeah. Dub, you
understand
know
what I'm
this one, right?
So when he so
We-
when
yeah,
he
I
was
see you
like
nod. You
Peckerwood,
know, you
right?
know, yeah.
And then he just ran out.
N-word.
He was like honky. He said N-word. He said
Dead
honky.
honky.
Then he just stopped talking.
Yeah,
He didn't say anything else.
yeah.
He just started flaring his nostrils and made his eyes big. See, that was talking without talking. He was letting you know that one more word,
It's gonna
I'm
be
coming
over.
across this desk. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes communication isn't words. You're not code switch, because I can use the same words, but I can give you body language. And there's this thing called a stare, right? And most hoods have it, right? But again, and I'm sorry about the Brooklyn thing. Growing up how I did in Brooklyn, you had to have a stare. If you didn't have one, you was a meal.
We
Like-
got those in Jersey City too.
Now I'm
though.
sure I said every hood,
Yeah.
right? So I was watching the show Top Boy, and one of the guys in Top Boy, he says, "Yo, man, where we came from, you was either a beast or you were food." Say, I can't be food.
That's deep.
I can't be food. I just can't. And that's my thing. I'm not food. I'm not gonna be a victim. I'm not. So you're gonna get whatever. And we've been victims or been victimized for so long. At the point now, I go back to the boat when they jumped the guy and he threw the hat. Now we got a whole thing with people with the hat in the air, and the white plastic chair. That's where we at now, right? Four people going to jail or up on charge. Everybody pleaded not guilty. Even the guy who hit the woman in the face with the white chair, he said not guilty. So listen, man, I just feel like we're done with it. I think that's a thing of the past. Jay-Z said something one time. He was like, I'm at the point where when I come into a boardroom, I know who I am. And y'all there to deal with me. I'm not there to deal with y'all. So I'm gonna be me, right? Wherever you go, that's where you are. You're gonna find yourself there. So don't be yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever you have, whatever you got, use it. I had something like that in the Big John's Jewel of the Day, Gem of the Day, and you gotta use your best tactics. You can't try to use their tactics. That's the problem. We've been trying to fight a war because we at war as black folks in America. We're still at war. We're captives. We're prisoners of war here in this landmass, right? And we're still fighting, but we're trying to fight with their tactics. We're trying to listen to them tell us how to fight. Like, no, I don't want. No, listen, you got to do that. You know, this is the rules. No, them your rules. I didn't agree to that. Y'all didn't sit down with me and mine and write down the rules of what we're gonna do, and we agreed upon it. That ain't happen. You're gonna set the rules. You're gonna set the standards. You're gonna designate the pay. You're gonna designate everything, and expect to have a fair fight with me when you designated everything. Nah, that's not what's happening.
What you got on this, Decade Up? You listening?
Yo,
What you think
with knowledge, with knowledge and understanding comes a lot of discernment. And so what I think, because of the fact that, information is starting to become readily available, and we being, middle age or what have you, we're making sure that we're delivering pieces of information that we weren't necessarily privy to at young ages. We're making sure that the people, the kids or the people that's behind us are privy to that information. And I think more and more people are starting to get that air in their chest and starting to stick it out and realize that being who I am is just what the world, what the establishment is going to have to accept. You know what I'm saying? If they don't accept it, oh well, that's their damn problem. So I think that, as time has gone along, though you remember us talking about the elders, after they get to a certain age, they really don't care. They don't really have a filter in regards to what they're saying. And I think that with the more knowledge that's being provided to us, and we're making sure that the generations and people behind us get that information, everybody, more people are getting that air in their chest. Like, man, I'm not conforming to what it is that you think that I should be. I'm going to be me, and you're going to accept it. Or if you don't accept it, that's your problem.
Yeah, no, I can dig it. Ain't no how stepping with Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. So we have
Absolutely, Mr.
gotten
Schuler. Absolutely.
we getting Mr. Schuler. Mr. Schuler just
Yeah.
checked in. Let me see. You know them, nice guy during the week. Hi, hello, how are you? Weekend. Motherfucker, get out my face. that's the pretty boy Damon. Yeah. Yeah, hey, bro, you nailed it. Thank you, brother. Thank you for participating and rocking with your brothers tonight. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy in that radio. All right, so Dub, we have gotten to the part of the show where we begin to shift towards a close. This is normally where I say nice shit about our guests. I'm not sure that I want to say nice things about you. Perhaps I
Means nothing.
should just
Means
keep
nothing.
with code switching. But if I am to follow how we were talking a few minutes ago, fuck all that. So I'll just go ahead and just say thanks for being on the show. What you want to say?
Oh man, hey, I appreciate you bringing me back on the show, man. Been a minute, you know what I'm saying, and you know, much appreciation to you for and the team for having me on or what have you. Waste a little time with y'all tonight, you know what I'm saying. It feel good, man. It feel good to be back up in here, man. I need to go ahead and stop playing, man. Hey, Grizzy, I need to see about you on your show as well, man. You know what I'm saying. So, hey, listen to everybody that know me. You know, peace and blessings. As I said earlier, man, if you take anything for what I'm saying, man, do yourself a favor and engage with, you know, the elders in the community, the elders that's in your family. You start to get an idea about what's going on, you know, to understand what was going on back in the day and to understand possibly, you know, what we need to do as individuals as well as groups, as a group to take it even further, man. You know. Other than that, peace and love. Hey, Marcus J, you know, another day. We're gonna argue about something just to let y'all know. I know y'all keep seeing me look up, look up. Hey, New York Knicks is on.
Yeah, you
Preseason or
watched the
not,
game. They
the New
playing the
York Knicks
Celtics.
is on.
Playing the Celtics. So you gonna just
Exactly.
no show me. You gonna no sell me taking a shot at you earlier, huh? You gonna act like I didn't just take a shot at you though? You gonna
Hey
just act
man,
like I wasn't trying to throw shade at you on the
we
air in front of
we
everybody? You
brother,
gonna act
listen,
like
man.
I didn't just throw shade at you in front of everybody? You gonna no sell it?
Small thing to a giant, brother. We've been kicking it for 40 plus years, man. You think that I'm gonna let you come on, man? You know what I'm saying? And plus,
Yeah, this is why I love this band.
I get
K-Dub.
more enjoyment out of it on another when you're vulnerable. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
you know what
Oh, you
I'm
gonna wait for me
saying?
vulnerable? Oh, my brother.
Yeah,
Hey, look, we
exactly.
grew up in the same hood, 132 and 167. My brother ain't no hashtag Marcus J. This is our brother K Dub. We've been brothers
Thanks.
since I was 3 and he was 2. We thought we was cousins until we was high school. We said, fuck it, we gonna still be cousins. Love you, brother. Thank you for
Love you
rocking
too,
with
man.
us.
Peace and
You
love,
tell
man. Peace and
Mr.
love.
W, we said peace. And
Indeed.
good to see you, man. We're gonna finish the
Yes,
show.
sir.
We're
Good
gonna
to
do
be
our
seen and not
closing
viewed.
salutations and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One love.
Peace
Peace
to you, bro.
is peace, peace, peace.
You got it. Ain't no hashtag Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. Leave me a couple comments in, and then I will take us home. Our brother Laurel is commenting off of Damon's comment, the pretty boy's comment. He says 100% know the energy, feel the energy. Most run from the energy and don't know that same energy in you. Mama Mika says that's what's up, but don't ever say waste time with my boy Marcus J around or me. Yeah, ain't no ask tell Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy and that radio. All right, so John, we are going to move to our rants, our closings, our missing children, our affirmations, all of the things we do at the final vestiges of our show. This is where I will start with I vacillate between the missing child and the moment in Black history. Let me do the missing child first. There's two of them. We are in Chesterfield County and we are in Henrico County, both a part of us here in the capital city, Richmond, Virginia. We're looking for What do you say, John?
We got the city of Richmond and you got Greater Richmond.
The Greater
Richmond
Greater
area. is what
Richmond
we're talking
area,
about.
right? So for you New York people, the New York City metro area.
Richmond would be Manhattan, and then the Greater Richmond would be all 5 boroughs, Newark and Long Island.
There you go. There you go. All right. So we're looking for Miracle India Lee. Miracle India Lee has been missing since October 3rd. Since October 3rd in the Henrico area, 16-year-old black female, last seen wearing a gray shirt, black sweatpants, and a tie-dye head wrap scarf. She also has a belly button piercing. Miracle requires medical medication, and she may be in the need of medical attention. If you've seen Miracle India Lee, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children at website missingkids.org, or contact them on the phone by calling them at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843, excuse me, 1-800, that's 1-800, let me stay where I was at because my brain went there. 1-800-843-5678 is the phone number for the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children. But the Henrico County Police Department phone number that I intended to give you was 804-501-5000. Get a pen, write it down, rewind it back, write it down. Keep your eyes open for our missing children. We're also looking today for Dakaya Anique Taylor. Dakaya Anique Taylor. My apologies if I said any of that incorrectly. Been missing since over the weekend, more specifically yesterday, from Chesterfield County, October 8th. She's 14 years old. She ain't sleep in her bed last night. We looking for her. She's been missing from Chesterfield County Police Department, so Chesterfield County in the Richmond area. She's got a ponytail that is half black, half pink. She has her left nostril pierced. She was last seen with Kaya and Kai, both black females. They must be her homies. Please keep your eyes open. If you've seen Dakaya Anique Taylor, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org, or contact the Chesterfield County Police Department at 804-748-1251. So let us recap. Dakaya Anique Taylor, Miracle India Lee. If you've seen either of them, please contact the National Center for Missing and/or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.org, or contact them by phone at 1-800-THE-LOST. 1-800-THE-LOST. 800-843-5678. I've made a commitment on the show to always keep the name Keisha Jacobs in the consciousness of our listeners. She's been missing since September of 2016. Last seen on September 26th, to be exact, 2016, in the 3100 block of East Broad Street in Church Hill near Chimborazo Park. Last seen wearing a black basketball shorts, pink and black Nike shoes, a pink scarf. She's got a tattoo on her right foot, right leg, right hand of a leaf, pause, and flower, respectively. If you have information on the disappearance of our sister Keisha Jacobs, please contact the Major Crimes Detective William Thompson at 804-646-3925, or call 911, or call Crime Stoppers at 804-780-1000. The person who was last seen with her has been convicted of murder in Florida. So our antennas are up. We want to know what he has to say, but he ain't saying nothing. But hopefully we are. We are still looking for our sister, and we appreciate any information that you may have. And you know how Steppin, Marcus J, live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. So this is where we move to the last piece of our housekeeping before we rant and before we close, where we do our moment in Black history. So I'm going to tell you who this is in a minute, but I want you to hear about this wonderful, wonderful Black person, this Black woman, this sister. The 1920s in America were, among so many other things, a veritable golden age of the powerful blues woman. And at the pinnacle stood Bessie Smith, whose personal and musical power pushed out the boundaries of both female and Black expression for a new mass audience. Bessie first performed at her age around 8 in her hometown of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and began her professional career in earnest when she performed in the same show as blues immortal Gertrude Ma Rainey in the years between 1912 and 1915. From there, she toured in minstrel and cabaret shows until pianist Clarence Williams brought her to New York to record Downhearted Blues in 1923. It quickly established her as the most successful Black recording artist of her day, and for the next 5 years, she recorded and toured with great success. Though she made her last recordings in 1933 with Jack Teagarden and Betty Goodman, Smith continued touring until a car accident took her life at age 43. Today, we celebrate the life of Bessie Smith, born in 1894 and died in 1937. Ain't No How Steppin' with Marcus J. Live from NewDen of Legacy Internet Radio. So this is where we shift to our our rants and to our closings and to our affirmations. This is where we pay homage to our sister, Steph B, who couldn't be with us tonight. And John will read to us the affirmation as we do every single week. The three of us, we pull affirmations from the affirmation card. John will read Steph's. John will read his own. I will close us out with my own rant and closing. I'm going to say some nice shit about him first, though. John, I appreciate you, bro. You got so much patience with me on and off the air. I know, I realize, and I appreciate. Thank you for being my brother.
Okay. Today I will breathe. Today, as I face challenges, I will call a mental timeout. I will consciously breathe with my eyes closed and focus on slowing my inhalation and exhalation.
My brother. Ain't
That
no
was
ask.
for sis.
That was for Steph B, our sister Steph.
And I picked it, and it was appropriate.
It was very appropriate. And we miss her and we love her. And we're going to see her soon.
Today, I am at peace. Today, I'm at peace with all that has happened, all that is happening, and all that will happen.
My brother. My brother.
We're going to do the closing like this today. My closing. I'm not a historian, but I'm a history buff. And I did some study on some things that I had studied long ago. One of the things I studied Benjamin Franklin a long time ago. And he had some interesting papers, ideas, and thoughts. He was very, very much a racist person and a freak. And they found dead bodies in his house. He had a house in like London somewhere. And they never talked about that. He's still on $100 bill. He was never president. He didn't discover electricity. That was a lie. The smart man, but he's very much a racist. And people say that he would describe people as swarthy or tarny. And what he was describing basically was mixed race people or black people who look like me. They wasn't quite white. And you could tell that they was something else. But you on first glance, you wouldn't designate them at the term at that time, Negro or whatever they called it, black. They didn't call it black. You know, after designating what white was, that was created in this country. They designated white people in like 1631, something like that. They would use the term swarthy. They used it for a lot of kings. When they wrote about kings of England, and when they wrote about emperors of Rome, who were black folks in history, they would say swarthy. Right? They would say swarthy. That's what they were. You know, and they were people who looked like me. They were definitely black people, or people with a significant amount of black in them. We deal in this country as black people with a situation that we don't always recognize, because to be conscious of it takes up a lot of space in your brain. Unfortunately, I can't ever not think about it. I know that I'm a prisoner of war. I have a lot of freedoms that most prisons don't have, but I'm a prisoner of war. Right? My people were conquered and captured, right? On this landmass and on the continent of Africa simultaneously, by the way. And were made to suffer here and have been suffering here for over 400 years. When we think about that and we understand that, and we go into the subject matter that we spoke about earlier in the show, we have to understand what we're dealing with at all times. We have to understand that we're prisoners of war, that the war is still going on, and we're trying not to win the war. We're trying to be able to fight the battle, right? And on their battlefield, and come out with limited scars. That's what we're trying to do. So I want everybody to be conscious of their surroundings at all times. What they say, keep your head on a swivel. Yeah, don't lose focus though. Don't lose focus, because you got to put your life in a place where it's minimally affected by the nonsense and bullshit that goes on around you. And that requires your main attention, especially if you're a parent, if you have children, right? That's your main focus, right? But don't let this stuff go on around you and not recognize it and don't see it. And don't be so easily distracted, especially with all this social media going on. So much going on social media, and I got caught up in this game, the game with the king or whatever it's called, Royal something. I got caught up on, like, I'm addicted right now. I got to pull myself off the game because I'm winning, you know, and I'm enjoying it. But I got to get myself off that game because I'm focused too hard on it, you know. So just be aware, stay focused, know what we're dealing with, and conduct yourself accordingly. Having due notice thereof, govern yourselves accordingly. And that's my closing.
Hey, no, I Steppin, Marcus J, live from NewDen of Legacy Internet Radio. Let me give a very, very, very special shout out to my brother Laurel, who has been with us throughout the show. He's been making comments, and I see you, brother. I appreciate you. Very special shout out to our sister Mama Mika, Legacy Internet Radio alumni, who has been in dialogue with our brother Laurel, and they've been going back and forth in the feed, and they've been sharing their comments with us. I see y'all, I appreciate y'all, and I thank y'all. Special shout out to my brother Double H out of Cleveland, Ohio, who I speak to regularly, who I told affectionately that he should have production credit on the show because of how much he helps me, even up to today, as late as 3-4 o'clock today, when he and I were in dialogue and he was helping me sharpen my swords. So thank you, Double H. I appreciate you and I appreciate your support. This is where I read to you my affirmation card and then I get to my rant and to my closing. So let me see. Laurel says, I appreciate Marcus J and John. Great show. He says he needs to meet you, John. Absolutely. And Laurel, you know where you and me hang out. Perhaps I might try to get John to join us there. We'll see. Yeah, inside joke that I'll share with you, John, off air. And you know how Steppin, Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Narrator. All right, so here is my affirmation card. Today I am curious. Today, I will open my mind and explore new possibilities and opportunities. I dig it. I dig it. And you know how Stephen Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy and their radio. So this is where I close this out, right? And so I'm excited about aging. Aging. How many people you know get excited about getting older? I get excited about getting older, man. You know, because I get to learn new things. I get to experience new things. I get to spend time with my elders as I did this past weekend. I got to hang out with an elder who's 83 years old coming up in December. I got to hang out with an elder, my dad, who's 81 years old, and my mom, who's right behind him, and another elder that's right behind her. I got to hang out with elders this weekend. I'm usually, in spite of John being a half a generation ahead of me, I'm usually the old guy in most of the rooms that I'm in as I approach a half a century coming up in June of 2024. I just got back to RVA yesterday. I went up to New Jersey on Friday and I mentioned that to John. He's like, damn, you up there a lot. Yeah, I'm up there a lot. In 31 years, I made that trek up and down, but I'm up there a lot more in the last few months. And that's, something that, I'm appreciative of. I'm appreciative of having the energy to make the ride and the desire to make the ride. But I want to share something because I've been thinking about the fall of 1993. Fall of 1993. If you know me, you know I'm very reflective, and I'm certainly in that stage of life now as a middle-aged man. 1993, I'm a sophomore at Virginia Union University. You see me in the garb as we sit and talk to you tonight. And it's the first time that I made the solo driving trip from where I live now in Richmond to where I grew up in Jersey City. It's about a 325, 350 mile trek, depending on where in Jersey I'm going. And the first time I made that ride, I made it in the first car that I've ever owned, a 1986 Chevy Celebrity station wagon. If you're on my Instagram, if you're on my Facebook page, I posted a picture of this car. You should be able to see it there. And I had the custom plate, 1993, John. My custom plate said JCNJ. I was holding down Jersey City as a 19-year-old. That's how much I love my town. But that's also how much I love the town that I'm in now. Have Virginia plate with JCNJ represented on it. And I made that trek countless times in the next 30 years. Some years I went a lot of times, some years maybe not quite so much. It was largely determined by what is going on in my family at the time. Upgrades in roads, easier methods to pay tolls, newer, more comfortable vehicles, kind of shortened the ride. Not quite as bad as it used to be. When I first started doing the ride, it was kind of close to 6 hours, maybe a little bit less, 6 hours as the medium. Now, on a good ride, if I roll out in the middle of the morning like I normally do before the sun rises, I could probably make that ride in about 5 hours, 5:15, maybe if Northern Virginia is acting right. But there's one thing that has remained consistent the entire time I've been traveling up and down I-95. You people drive too damn fast, swerving in and out, riding up on the back of people, last minute going around, darting around them, getting in the lane in front of them. Perhaps if you are doing 65 in a 65 in the left lane, that would be okay. But if you're doing 75 in a 65 in a center lane, I can't ride with you, man. You're going too damn fast. Quit racing the dudes you never met before and slow your ass down. It's people on the road that are not quite on the level you on. And the speed limit is the speed limit for a reason. Perhaps I didn't care quite as much about this in 1993 when I first started the track, but that was 30 years ago. I was 19, I'm 49 now. And while I could keep up with it, maybe in 1993 with the 1986 Chevy Celebrity station wagon, that I had to mash my foot to the ground just to get to that 65. I could keep up with you, but now I can. I'd much prefer to lay back, set the cruise control for about 5 above, and just cruise in. What's your hurry? Because for me, my hurry was getting from New Jersey to the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, to the Well Collective on 13th Street here in Richmond, Virginia, for a nice restorative yoga practice with community and solitude with my family at Bare Soul Yoga. So perhaps my temperament is different, but y'all asses still drive too fast. It's Marcus's unrelated rant that had nothing to do with what we in here talking about tonight. That is the end of the show. I want to remind everybody that independence is the key to building your legacy. I also want to say peace to all of the stars and all of the squares and the abundance of water. The fool is thirsty. You know how Steppin with Marcus J wants to remind you that we are celebrating 12 years plus the internet radio and live podcasting. We're excited about that. Authenticity has no competition. Ain't nobody like us. I want you to be well. I want you to give grace. Most importantly, keep it 100. Don't be a faker. Be who you is all the time. Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus J live from NewDen of Legacy Internet Radio for our sister Steph B, for our brother John, for our brother K-Dub, and for all of y'all who've been rocking and listening. Like and share our stuff. You enjoyed it? Let other folks enjoy it as well. Ain't no how Steppin with Marcus J live from NewDen Legacy Internet Radio. We happy, we excited, we coming back real soon, probably next week, maybe, maybe not. We do this when we want to. We love you. Peace.
Oh yeah. I'm with this, with me. I'm just gonna lay back and I'm gonna drop some smooth lyrics. So tune in 7 to 9:30 and don't be late. About to set it straight. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Word. I'm ready. Let's go. Ain't no half stepping. That's the name of the show. Yeah. Marcus J hosting and we ready to go. Yeah. Hunters talk sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you want to talk about? Call and we're hearing you. Cover all topics. Touch on the main issues. With you blowing this show, bring the heat. Yeah. The word on the street with the Earl on the beat. We suburb in the D legacy online. Okay. 7 to 9:30. Please be on time. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J, my brother. Yeah. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. Brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus J start to talk, running back. And he been on this grind for a while. The brother so smart, plus brother got style. Up in Richmond, we on the mission, before force. And listen up, this Marcus J start to talk. That's the name of the show. Yeah. Marcus Shea hosting and we ready to go. Yeah. Hunter's Tone sprinkle with a dash of humor to the legacy listeners and the online viewers. What you want to talk about, call it, we're hearing you. Cover all topics, touch on the main issues. With the flow in this show, bring the heat. Yeah. The word on the street, Wizard Earl on the beat. We superb in the D legacy online. 7 to 9:30, please be on time. Ain't no half stepper with Marcus Shea, my brother. Yeah. If they can't hang, word to their mother. And he been on this grind for a while. My brother so smart, plus brother got style. We on the mission, we full force, and listen up. This Marcus Shea start to talk.